What's going on, fellow A Plusers? It's your boy Adam Perez. We're back once again with a brand new live episode of A Plus Hero Report, your weekly stop for your Marvel, DC, television, and movie news. Streaming live for you guys today. We got 6 incredible topics, some honorable mentions, and your live viewer questions. So sit back, relax, grab your coffee, grab your drink, and enjoy the show. And we'll see you guys on the other side. Good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're certainly watching us live from here today. We got a brand new episode of A Plus Hero Report, hosted by yours truly, Adam Perez, and my co-host, as always, coming through, Stuart Branscombe. What's going on, Stu?
What's up?
What's up?
Taking us back to the 90s.
That's right, us millennial boys over here. How you doing, man? How's your week been treating you so far?
I've been doing good. I look at this week like the big calm before the storm because next weekend we got Wicked coming out, and things are definitely going to be crazy at my theater when that movie comes out.
Yeah, man, I better start talking to the girlfriend about trying to make some plans for a babysitter, so we can try and catch this movie together. I'm excited for it, man. I keep seeing a new. I think they might have dropped a brand new trailer this week or the previous week, and it continues to get me really hyped. I don't know how much money the first Wicked made. I think maybe in the $700 million mark, but I think all the anticipation, I think the buildup of how good the first one was. This movie may hit $1 billion. Who knows, man?
Yeah, I would be surprised if this movie didn't make at least the same amount, if not more, than the second movie.
Yeah, you would think so. I'm really looking forward to it. I had the opportunity to see, what movie did I check out this week? Nuremberg. I don't know if you've heard of that film or if you guys are even playing at your theater. Nuremberg. Who's in it? Russell Crowe is in it, which is really good. They also got the guy. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name now. I know his name. I'm just blanking on it now. The guy.
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon was really good in that movie. Also, the guy from Bohemian Rhapsody in iRobot. Remy Malek.
Malek, yeah.
Yeah, also really good. Man, it was. So it takes place after the war. It's really a story about the Allies that are putting the final pieces of the Nazi regime on trial for their war crimes. It's like the first sort of big international court that they wind up having that really kind of set the tone kind of going forward. Man, I gotta tell you, it's pretty good stuff. Eerie also in regards to how the messages still permeate till today, in the sense of let's not forget how we sort of got there in the first place. Just a real gut punch in the film that kind of stayed with me since I watched it earlier this week. I may do a review about it just to kind of get my thoughts out there into the world. But man, Nuremberg. If you get the opportunity to check it out in theaters, guys, please go ahead and do so. I'm sure there's a couple. I also want to see Christie, that Sydney Sweeney film. It looks good. I remember when I saw the previews originally, I kind of wanted to check it out. She's got a lot of stuff going on in personal life and things like that on Twitter and whatnot. But it's still a film that I actually am looking forward to seeing.
I thought it was funny, or actually, no, never mind. I was gonna make a joke, but it's too early to get us demonetized.
Yeah, let's not.
I might make a joke at the end of the video because YouTube stops carrying at the end. So if I remember,
Okay,
but I did see 3 movies in theaters because this past month, I've noticed whenever I'm not having the best week or so not the best month at work, I end up just not going to see movies. So last few weeks haven't been the best, but this last week I'm what, work wasn't so bad, so now I actually feel like seeing a movie. So I ended up taking a day watching doing a triple feature, watching 3 of them. So I saw Predator Badlands, which I thought was fun. I know a lot of people were saying it felt Disneyfied, and I kind of agree to an extent, but I don't think that was a bad thing for this type of Predator movie. I think that was the direction they took with it made sense. Even it being PG-13 didn't bother me because you still had plenty of violence in it. It just wasn't human violence, and that makes it okay. but I also saw Die My Love, which was not what I expected because I thought that was supposed to be like a straight up horror movie. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
for Lawrence and Robert Pattinson as like
Pattinson.
a newly married couple. And it was interesting. I was expecting a horror movie, like slasher movie, but like ends up just being kind of a I don't know how to describe it. Like one of those like not straightforward narrative type of films. I hate using the term artsy because that just comes off as lazy, but it kind of feels like more of an artsy film than I expected.
Okay.
But I still thought it was really good, really well shot, and one of those unreliable. Not necessarily, we don't know how reliable the narrator is like within it. So I definitely need to watch it again. It was interesting. And then the last movie was probably my favorite. Highly recommend this one to anyone. But have you seen Begonia yet?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh,
Begonia. Okay.
yeah, I loved it. That's the one with Jesse Plemons. He ends up kidnapping Emma Stone
Oh, Emma
because
Stone's character.
yeah, because
Yeah,
he
I've
thinks
heard
that
some
she's
things
an
about it.
alien.
Yeah, I've heard some things about it. It was on. I was like, should I watch this? Should I not? I was like, I do like both of them, but I really don't know what the movie's about. But I did hear about him thinking that she was an alien, so I was like, I don't know what this movie is going to turn into. So I don't know. I don't know if I want to check it out or not. But it is on my radar. Whether or not I get the opportunity to see it in theaters, we'll see though. But that's
But
cool, man. Okay.
yeah, we didn't have Nuremberg though. But now that I know that it's out, it's definitely on my list. I kind of assumed that it wasn't coming out till December.
Yeah, no, I don't. I just popped up on my coming soon page on my AMC thing. I hadn't really heard of it before. Hadn't seen any like promotion or marketing for it. But I saw the actors, I watched the trailer and I'm like, I'm sold, man. I'm sold. I'm a sucker for history and period pieces also. So if it looks appealing, I'll probably check it out for sure. But I'm glad you liked Predator Badlands because I said the same thing. I said it's definitely Disneyfied, but I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing. I think Predator Badlands just I think with Dan Trachtenberg in general, what he's been able to do with Prey, Killer of Killers, and Badlands is just show the versatility that you can have with Predator. That Predator doesn't necessarily need to just be a sci-fi horror flick. You know, like I think when you stay in that vein and that genre for too long, it can get old and boring. And so the fact that he's been able to, take that, twist it around a little bit with Prey, then give us something animated, now give us something, I don't want to say lighthearted in regards to Badlands because it's certainly not, but um, to be able to have that action adventure aspect to Predator and not just be something horror related, I think just does wonders for the franchise and being able to just expand and really be other things. You know what I mean?
Definitely. It's we know that inevitably Disney is going to want to cash grab with the Alien versus Predator franchise. They're going to want to go back to that. I hope they get this director, because he's already proven he's done 3 projects, and I think they've all been a pretty decent success when it comes to the Predator franchise. So
Yeah,
it's like,
they've all been
let
really good.
this guy direct the next Alien versus Predator movie if Disney's going to eventually do that, which I
Yeah,
think they
well,
will.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, because they've been knocking it out of the park with Alien Earth, Alien Romulus, also. So Disney's not afraid to do some new things. But guys, listen. We got a couple new features for you guys here today. I don't know if you've noticed, but over on YouTube, we're actually showcasing and dual casting our show in 2 different formats. You can watch us widescreen if you want, landscape if you want on YouTube, but we also now have a vertical feature if you want to watch us on our phone the long way, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. StreamYard has offered 2 like dual perspectives for you guys to watch our show. So whatever format fits you guys is better. Certainly go ahead and check it out that way. But we'll probably be doing this on a week-to-week basis. I am kind of curious if StreamYard allows us to connect to TikTok. I really would like to add this to TikTok. We do have the option to go to Instagram, but I think Instagram only does live for like an hour. I think we have to keep like, reloading it or reactivating it every hour. So we'll see. But let us know how you guys like different formats. However, you're certainly watching us today. We definitely would love to know. And look, as we go through today's topics, remember these are simply our A plus opinions. We always want to know yours. So the live chat is open if you want to leave comments as we go through these topics. Join our discussion, add to the conversation. It certainly helps. If you want to help us out monetarily, there's also a super chat, also a super image to go ahead and help us out. We have no sponsors here, so our growth is really through you guys. So if you guys want to continue to see us grow and continue to do better, get better products, production value for you guys, definitely go ahead and help us out. But if you can't help us out monetarily because it's tight in them streets, some people live in paycheck to paycheck, the best way to help us out also, just hit the like button. Literally takes 1 second of your time. Feel free to share these videos. Also subscribe to the channel. It really does certainly go a long way, guys. But let's go ahead and shout out some people that have joined us here today live chat. We're going to go through some of these comments with you. Enrique, hey Adam, just saw the official teaser trailer for the upcoming Toy Story 5. It features Woody's return and the new chapter Lily Pad. It will be arriving in theaters June 19th. Did you have the opportunity to see that, Stuart?
I did. My first thought was this should have been the plot to Toy Story 4, because there was one particular scene I remember in Toy Story 4 that I was kind of like scratching my head at, where like all the kids are like playing with toys like on the playground and getting excited when they see new toys, and I'm just like, do kids still play with toys nowadays? And so, you know, them going with this plot line for Toy Story 5, it's like, yeah, that's what I think they should have like said back in Toy Story 4. So I'm intrigued. I think for me, it's just yeah, like I didn't love Toy Story 4. I just it was partially just because I thought it was an okay movie, but also partially just because I love the trilogy so much that I'm like, do we need to continue this story? And then when I saw the fourth movie, even though it was a good movie, I didn't think it needed to be made, or at the very least, I didn't think this story needed to be told through the perspective of Toy Story. I feel like there were other ways the story could have been told. But with Toy Story 5, this is one, at least it's a story. Well, at least it's a plot. It's a plot that could only really be told through Toy Story, through Toy Story. So I don't know what the story itself is going to be, but the plot, at least I know, yeah, very much like at least is taking advantage of the fact that it's Toy Story related.
No, I get you. I get you. We also got first trailer for the upcoming SpongeBob movie, Search for the SquarePants, and it'll be arriving in theaters with the new TMNT short drone or short film. Oh wait, the TMNT short Drone Alone 2, Lost in New Jersey.
I
In
think I'm
December.
looking forward
That's
to
a mouthful.
I think I'm looking forward to the short more than the actual movie. Because yeah, I don't know,
Oh
just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You
it
know
looked,
what's my little boy would probably love to watch that movie. Yeah, for some reason, the girlfriend accidentally introduced him to SpongeBob SquarePants at the age of 4, and now he wants to watch it like every day. And me and the girlfriend sat down and have a conversation. Like, I don't know. I don't know if he's ready for SpongeBob SquarePants, babe. Like, he's only 4 years old. Like, I think we should really like limit his SpongeBob SquarePants intake at this point, just to be on the safe side. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
think
do
we might
like,
be,
30 minutes a day.
yeah,
But no,
maybe
I
like,
was about 4 years old
yeah.
when I started watching SpongeBob.
Look at you now, right? So I guess he turned out he could turn out okay. He could turn out
Yeah,
okay.
he'll turn out to be another podcaster like the two of us.
Enrique says also saw the official trailer for the upcoming Super Mario Brothers Galaxy movie. We'll talk about that in a little bit here for you guys. And Adam, I just saw the official teaser trailer for the upcoming Toy Story 5. He already said that already. Okay. Let's see. It looks like some of his stuff might have gotten duplicated here. We
Oh
got
yeah.
Blossom in the house. What's up, Blossom? Seeing you two is the highlight of my Sunday.
Aw.
Oh, we appreciate that, Blossom. We always appreciate you coming through. It's not a full A plus hero report without Blossom in here, so we appreciate you coming through. Ram Jam in the house. I know Ram Jam's got a few minutes here today to join us live, so it's always good to see you. Have you? That's funny, Stuart. You got that from Scary Movie, yes? Oh, the what's up,
Oh
probably.
yeah.
So picking things up.
Actually, what's funny is that, like, yeah, I think that I originally saw that in Scary Movie. I didn't even know that that was a parody of a commercial from
Yeah, it was like Bud
what
Light or Budweiser or something, wasn't it?
yeah, one of those two. One of
It's
the
like the
Bud beers.
frogs. Was it the frogs that did it? I can't remember.
Yeah. I'm gonna look this up. Now I can't remember.
Ram Jam says have you guys checked out the concept Michael Jackson popcorn buckets? Ram Jam sent me images of these popcorn buckets. Dude, these are like
Ooh.
the most incredible popcorn buckets I've ever seen. It's got Michael Jack. It's got a so it's got he sent me four. I'm trying to remember what all four of them was. I believe one was the one that stood out to me was like the diamond glove, and it's holding your popcorn bucket, which is dope. I think there's another one where he's himself in the Thriller costume, like the red Thriller costume. But then there's also, I think, a zombie one of him in the Thriller costume. And then I think it's him from Bad, if I'm not mistaken, with like the leather jacket and the chains and the hoops and stuff. I think those were the four. But the popcorn bucket and the zombie, I was like, God, like so cool, man. I definitely would spend some money for both of those.
Yeah, I love that popcorn buckets have suddenly like, and I think it all started with Dune because they made like the most unintentionally sexual like popcorn bucket, and ever since then, now everyone suddenly is excited for popcorn buckets. Like these aren't new; like they've been doing these type of things. Like, okay, I actually had one. It was of Groot from the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and it was his head. And what was so cool about it is that after I was done using it for popcorn, I just ended up kind of using it as kind of like filling it with dirt and then just like putting a couple of flowers in it, and it looks kind of cool, like having flowers sticking out of Groot's head. But it's kind of cool. Like ever since Dune, like I feel like suddenly like more people are talking about popcorn buckets.
Yeah, they definitely become a really big thing. I used to collect a lot of popcorn tins. I don't remember if you guys recall, but like especially during like the Star Wars sequel trilogy that came out, they always had the cool like popcorn bucket tins with the cool designs for
Yeah.
each movie. I used to collect the hell out of those for Star Wars, but after that I just kind of fell off. So I've never really been a big popcorn bucket person, but I will say the Michael Jackson ones definitely have my attention, and the Fantastic Four one that they had of Galactus. Like if I
Mm.
ever wanted to buy one, those would be ones that, and I think they even had like a Herbie one too, if I'm not mistaken. But those always catch my eye. We also got Derpy. What's up, Derpy? Appreciate you coming through. He says, I'm just here for that Flash hat, bro.
Heck yes.
He says, I guess we're getting new DC news today. Yeah, we got a couple of topics we're going to be breaking down for you guys. Marcelino also says Oscar Isaac said that he refuses to work with Disney because of the Jimmy Kimmel incident. Since they kneel to fascism, this means Moon Knight will most likely be recast, and we're not getting Poe back. Well, Oscar Isaac did say that he is open to the idea of returning, but as of right now, he's not until Disney learns not to kneel to fascism. So if Disney gets their stuff together, then maybe Poe will certainly return. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm not holding my breath.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. All right. So yeah, guys, feel free to continue to chat in the live chat if you want amongst yourselves, or send us some messages as we go through these topics. But Stuart, let's go ahead and kick this show off with our first topic of the day. And we're going to get into our honorable mentions portion of the show. If you are new here, honorable mentions is pretty much our segment where topics that didn't quite make our top six, but felt that you certainly still deserved to know about them. So I don't know if you have anything you want to talk about first, Stuart, or if you have any
Nothing.
honorable mentions.
Nothing new in the realm of news, but we did get a new South Park, so I'll talk about that really briefly. This episode really kind of shows the kind of scary future that we're heading towards with AI, because
Oh,
I think like the one of the biggest things in this episode is that you had all the kids basically using Sora to make essentially revenge porn of each other, and
oh
so because
no.
of that, it becomes a whole catastrophe. And the thing is, like, I was like thinking about this is like, damn, through their perspective, they're just doing regular juvenile behavior. They don't know like how bad what the things that they're doing are. And the worst part is it's easy. And that's something that I could see actually becoming like an epidemic, like a genuine epidemic, like in the future. whatever. So yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like I'm glad we're seeing that this is a I'm glad that South Park is like kind of pointing this stuff out, like, hey, this can be a huge problem later on, as the show's airing. The other thing too, of course, is with AI as well. The idea of like it's now getting to the point where before, like I'll say even less than a year ago, let's say someone said something really stupid on camera, and then they later try to play it off as, oh, that video footage is fake, it's all AI. Well, you could look at the footage and it would take maybe a minute to look at it and go, nope, that's definitely not AI. That's definitely real. We're also getting to a point where pretty soon you're actually going to have to take some time to investigate if someone claims like something that gets leaked is like AI or not. It's like actually going to be something that's going to take some time to like be able to figure out for sure. And I'm just like, yeah, it's because of how fast the AI technology is growing. It's like, give it like 2 or 3 years. That's going to be the future that we're living in. And it's kind of scary, not going to lie. So it's good that, I started thinking about this early on through comedy, and not through like actual disaster. So yeah, one of those. So it was another really great episode. The ending of it, people are jokingly saying, holy crap, they kind of predicted certain emails that came out through, the whole Trump stuff, because there was just like a weird thing that happened at the end. I won't spoil it just in case anyone watching this actually is interested in checking out the episode. But yeah, it was overall, again, another solid episode for the series.
Yeah, the AI stuff definitely concerns me. I'm glad South Park is definitely talking about it, because I'm hearing more and more AI companies really want to remove their watermark on their AI videos, which I think would be just horrendous. Like I think that would just be awful for society if they were to do that. Like the inability to be able to have something or watch something and not know if it's AI or not. Like I see some people that will take the Sora videos and crop them in such a way to where you can't even see the Sora watermark anymore. So it's really hard to tell like if it's AI or not. And literally like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I used to tell my girlfriend like, I can pick out AI videos. Like it's pretty simple for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. But like now I literally have to take my time to figure out like, is this AI, or even go into the comments to see like if anybody noticed anything weird, just to confirm it's AI or not. I mean, the speed in which it's improving is pretty scary. And the fact that some companies don't want that watermark on there for you to be able to tell that it's AI is really troubling, because it's like, where are we going to go as a society to the point of like not knowing what's real or what's not, and that's a really slippery slope, man. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they're at least talking about it. Couple other things. I found this rather interesting. Apparently, we got more Roger Rabbit on the way. According to a couple sources here, in a recent interview, the website dedicated exclusively to Jessica Rabbit news, don't ask me why, author Gary K. Wolf revealed that he quietly reacquired the rights to Roger Rabbit last year. He says, I now have back the rights to all my characters, all my books. I can basically do my own Roger Rabbit projects. He said he thought the fight with Disney to get the right backs was going to be worse than it was. He says, I was expecting that it would be a contentious project. Who knows what was going to happen, but it was not. It was very civil, very courteous, very straightforward. Disney was always top notch for me. They treated me very well. They always accommodated me in whatever I wanted to do. He says a lot of people ask why we didn't do the first movie more closely to Who Censored Roger Rabbit book. He says, well, that's on the table. He says that one is the most prominent. The one that is most prominent is a live action Jessica Rabbit movie based on the book Jessica Rabbit Serious Business. That was the first project that we took a look at, and the first we started developing. It's probably the one that's furthest along right now. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna get some more Roger Rabbit content for you guys, in the form of at least the first thing maybe being a live action Jessica Rabbit show. Um, Let me see. We also got. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Give me one moment. We also got some Alien Earth news. Did this pull up? There we go. Alien Earth news. Apparently, Alien Earth has been renewed for a second season. We finally got that news today. Variety notified us, not us directly, but also series creator Noah Hawley has signed a new overall deal with FX. According to an individual with knowledge of the situation, Hawley's overall deal is valued in the 9-figure range, Stuart. Production on season 2 of Alien Earth will begin in London in 2026. So yeah, Alien Earth has in fact been renewed for a
I'm
second
kind of
season.
relieved to hear that because, like, you know, I thought season one for the most part
It's
was pretty
enjoyable.
decent. I thought
Yeah.
it kind of ended a bit like it felt underwhelming basically with the ending, but I still feel like the series as a whole definitely has a lot of potential. So I'm glad it's still going.
Yeah, absolutely. We also got a notification from the director of Street Fighter that production has officially wrapped. Production has wrapped on Street Fighter, so that movie will now move into post-production. Also, this got brought up last minute. I should have I didn't pull up the article, but from what I remember, I hear that Paramount is actually canceling the TMNT animated series Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with I think Dora the Explorer animated series that they have as well. This was like a news report from Deadline that came up earlier this week. I didn't get the opportunity to post it on the Facebook page, but they are in fact ending TMNT Tales for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I do believe season 2 is certainly scheduled to drop accordingly, but the series itself will in fact be ending. I don't necessarily know if that's a bad thing, Stuart. And I only say that because I was kind of always under the impression that this was, I don't want to say an ongoing series, but I always thought this series was supposed to be used to bridge the animated movie to its sequel. So I do wonder if maybe they only had 2 seasons planned and then we're supposed to be getting the movie anyway and it wasn't meant to come back. I'm not sure, but anytime we get less TMNT animation, it's kind of a bummer, man.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not surprised or too bummed that the show got canceled. Like, I mean, it sucks for the people who were fans of it, but I am glad that they haven't said anything about canceling the sequel or anything. So hopefully, we still get the
Yeah.
movie franchise out of it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Paramount now has new management, so who knows what they want to push forward and what they don't. We also got ourselves a Fallout 2 poster and trailer for season 2. Season 2 set to go ahead and drop December 17th. I feel that's a pretty quick turnaround from Fallout season 1 to season 2, so I appreciate the speed in which they've dropped this. But I got to tell you, man, I saw this trailer and it blew me the freak away. Have you seen this trailer at all, Stuart?
Actually, I don't think I've seen it yet.
Man, we got Elvis impersonator zombies or ghoul-looking people getting blown away. It looks intense. We get she's going to be discovering a little bit more truth about her father. Her father seems like he's got a little bit more prominent role in this season. Also, the ghoul certainly is front and center. It looks pretty damn good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really excited for where season 2 is going to go and introducing the more New Vegas kind of storyline.
I loved season one, and it's funny. I actually haven't played Fallout New Vegas, but I know that a lot of people will tell you that it's like their favorite Fallout game. And my fiance actually, I don't know if she got far in it, but she started it very briefly because she wanted to get ready for the season. But I don't know if she got that far. But yeah, it is going to be kind of cool to see some of those locations though, but in live action.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not. Give me a second. I'm just responding to my girlfriend real quick via text message. So I think it's got me frozen for a second.
Oh
Can I
yeah.
still move this out of the way? Yeah, I can. Um, did you happen to catch uh Super Mario Galaxy movie trailer that wind up dropping this week?
That one I did see.
What'd you think of it?
Looks fun. Kind of like the first Super Mario movie. I didn't think that one was bad at all. But obviously I just thought it was, okay. And that's what this one kind of looks like as well. Like, I'm sure like when I see it, I'll enjoy it, but it doesn't look like anything that's going to like, blow me away or anything like that.
Yeah, we got two new posters to accompany the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I gotta tell you, it definitely blew me away though. At least from like a visual standpoint, it looks stunning to me. Just the animation that they have for it. I mean, it looks very much similar to the first movie, but like taken up a notch. I mean, the concept of the galaxy, seeing like how Princess and Toad are like traveling from world to world. Even get an opportunity to see Bowser Jr. in here with like his power up or something like that. Like it looks pretty badass. We even have Brie Larson, I think, playing one of the princess
Oh, I didn't know that was
Rosalinda.
Brie Larson. That's cool.
Yeah, she's gonna be playing that cool little battle sequence towards the end of the trailer. Also, great humor I thought with Bowser at the beginning, trying to show off his artwork with him and Peach to Mario and Luigi. That definitely made me laugh. But I'm excited for this. This was just a teaser trailer, but I am looking forward to seeing a full on trailer for this because visually it's stunning, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the different worlds that they kind of go to. To be honest with you, so I'm actually kind of excited for this one.
Yeah. I will say this, the trailer did make me want to play Mario Galaxy again.
Yeah, yeah, I bet it's got that type of energy for sure. But yeah, guys, that will do it for our honorable mentions here today. So let us know what you thought of some of that news. What are the comments that we have before we get back? Kiki and Luca in the house. Ooh, Fallout, love that show. Kiki and Lucas's Prime has The Boys and Fallout. Love those shows. Yeah, they're gonna have that. I gotta tell you, Amazon Prime is really continuing to build some great IPs and acquire some great IPs. I mean, they still have the God of War one that we haven't even seen dropped yet. They now have James Bond under their belt. I believe they're the ones that are going to be giving us not Prime Video per se, but they're giving us Voltron. I think they're even giving us. I think they're even the studio behind Masters of the Universe too, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Amazon MGM. They're really getting into like those millennial IPs that like a ton of us loved growing up as kids, trying to bring them to the forefront. But when I feel like Amazon, Apple, and HBO Max have like the best quality shows right now. It feels like.
Yeah. I I think Apple would be up there too if I actually took some time to watch more Apple TV shows. Only because like those are always the ones that I keep hearing about. And plus, I mean, the ones that I have seen from the studio and Severance. Oh man, both of those
Mm.
have definitely blown my mind.
Oh, the studio was on Apple TV.
Yeah,
They have a new show from Vince Gillian,
that's right.
Pluribus, I believe. I've watched the first two episodes. It's intriguing. I'm curious where the story is going though. Like it's such an odd story. Um, I think I think I think the tagline for the show was like saving the world from happiness or something like that. And I'm like, what? How does that even work? But when you see how it plays out, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot
Hmm.
of sense. So, but yeah, I am curious to see where it goes. But yeah, Apple TV tends to have some pretty good stuff.
And I believe like it's the actress from Better Call Saul, right? She's the main character.
You know, I never watched Better Call Saul.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
I was a
missing
like a huge Breaking Bad guy. Watched all of Breaking Bad. I just never, maybe one or two episodes of Better Call Saul in the first season, and I just never, yeah, never stuck with it.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I will say that Better Call Saul definitely has a slower burn than Breaking Bad, but I think overall, I actually think I like Better Call Saul more than Breaking Bad. Not sure if that's a hot take.
It is a hot take. How dare you? How dare you?
Both amazing shows, obviously.
Blossom says too bad for the turtles. No offense, though, but I hated that they gave Donatello glasses. I kind of dig it, but I understand. I guess talking about Super Mario Brothers here, the animators are doing one heck of a job here. Yeah, absolutely. Blossom says sorry for swearing earlier, guys. Again, just was speaking from an artist perspective in regards to AI. No, it's okay. You don't gotta apologize for that. Captain Spud, what's up, Captain Spud? Says you're good, Blossom. AI sucks. Yeah. In the words of Guillermo del Toro, fuck AI. Sorry, YouTube. Don't monetize us, please.
It's been over 30 minutes, so we're good.
Yeah, they're not watching anymore. All right. But all right, guys. Also, if you want to go ahead and submit your live viewer questions over, feel free to go ahead and do so now. If you go over to our YouTube channel, click on the post tab. There is a live viewer question post there. Go ahead and submit your live viewer question over, and Stuart and I will answer them live at the end of our show. All right, man. I think you know what time it is, Stuart. Wait, no, not yet, not yet. Not yet. I completely got myself backwards. You ready to tackle these main topics with me, bro?
Always.
Let's do it. As you guys can see here, we got some incredible topics we're going to be talking about. Superman, Man of Tomorrow's in the news today. We also got some Star Trek news for you Trekkies out there. If you are like me that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, you love you some Masters of the Universe. Morbid time? It's morbid time. It's always morbid time. It's morbid time. We got some great Masters of the Universe news for you, some DC Studios updates as well. So sit back, relax, and feel free to participate in our conversation. But first up, Stuart, Man of Tomorrow is gracing us with some new information. Look, the idea behind this movie is we got a Lex and Superman team up here. James Gunn's already completed the script. He's already teased us of the script a couple of weeks back. And this is, in fact, going to be the next DCU movie after Clayface. And that continues the story and adventure of Superman. And I would assume maybe even Supergirl and plenty others are going to be in here. I think Rick Flag Sr. is back, as Frank Grillo has revealed to us earlier this week. But speculation has been rampant in regards to if you put together Lex Luthor and Superman, who could these two possibly be facing off against? And this week, it has in fact been confirmed that it is none other than Brainiac. There was some speculation: is it Brainiac? Is it Mongol? Who could it possibly be? It has in fact been confirmed this week that it is in fact going to be Brainiac. So let's go ahead and dive into this article here. This actually comes to us from The Wrap. Where'd it go? Is my story here? Yeah, here we go. I was like, where did my story go? Here we go. James, this is from The Wrap. James Gunn's Man of Tomorrow villain is Brainiac. This is in fact an exclusive. I love this image of him. Lex Luthor and Superman will team up against Uber villain Brainiac and Man of Tomorrow. The Wrap has exclusively learned. Production on the film is set to kick off in Atlanta in April. Man of Tomorrow will be released on July 9th, 2027. Since the announcement of Man of Tomorrow, fans have speculated that the Brainiac would be the film's eventual foe. There are multiple indicators that point to this, chief among them being the fact that the movie follows a temporary alliance between Superman and Lex Luthor. Just so you guys know, also, even though despite them confirming this, we always want to make sure that that James Gunn kind of weighs in or something like that every now and then. James Gunn did go ahead and post this image up on his I think it was Threads or Twitter, and some people were trying to figure out like what the hell is that? Like what is that supposed to be? Some people have in fact discovered that I believe it's like a map of the brain. So because of that, people were like, "Oh, it's definitely Brainiac. He's definitely confirming this." But this is in fact sort of like a map of the brain that was in fact teased by James Gunn. So Brainiac it is. Brainiac it is. I guess this isn't really too big of a surprise, Stuart, right? But I got to say, I think if anything, I'm I'm excited the fact that we're finally getting Brainiac live action. The last time we saw Brainiac live action, I think, in any format was the Krypton sci-fi series show. But outside of that, I think a lot of us have been asking for him to be brought to the big screen in some way. You know, I think for me, what's fascinating too is that when it comes to Superman, we're so used to like Lex Luthor being the villain or Zod being the villain. We haven't really had that opportunity to have enough Superman films to really like branch out outside of them, right? I mean, if you talk outside of maybe like if you go back to Christopher Reeves, was a nuclear man in like Quest for Peace back in Superman 4. That's really the only time we've really branched out. I can't remember who was the villain of Superman 3 besides like evil Superman, but I don't remember if there was like what caused him to be evil. I don't maybe you might remember Stuart, but yeah, outside of that, you go back to Superman Returns, Lex Luthor. Um Man of Steel, Zod. Batman versus Superman, Lex Luthor. I mean, so it's somebody, Zack Snyder's Justice League, not even Darkseid, but like one of his minions. So the fact that we're now at the point where we've had enough Superman movies where we can really kind of branch out and do something different here. Brainiac just seems like the natural next step here. And when you've got these two men that already kind of view themselves as the man of tomorrow when it comes to Lex Luthor certainly feeling that way and Superman just being a metaphor for that. Maybe the true man of tomorrow is in fact Brainiac himself. So again, not too surprising because I think a lot of us certainly speculated, but it's nice to have sort of like a breath of fresh air if this is in fact true. So what do you think about this, though, Stu?
Yeah, I think I don't know if I ever predicted this on Hero Report, but I this was definitely my best bet is that Brainiac would be the villain of this movie, especially because I feel like he's just big enough of a threat for Superman and Lex Luthor for it to, or sorry, yeah, for Superman and Lex Luthor for it to make sense for them to have to team up. But he's not necessarily like a Justice League level threat. I mean, he definitely can be
He
depending on
could
the
be, yeah.
storyline they go with, but he doesn't have to be. So I think this was like the perfect villain that they could have gone for with a plot line like this. It leaves to several possibilities. Like, I do think because like even though we're gonna definitely get like moments of Superman and Lex Luthor seemingly getting along, I feel like there's going to be just that moment that the movie's eventually going to build towards where they heavily imply that this could be Lex Luthor's chance of redemption, maybe even offering you a new perspective on his character that kind of makes you sympathize with him and then want to believe that, hey, maybe this guy really can change, only for him to then do a complete 180 by the time we get to the ending. And I think Brainiac's the kind of villain that you could do that with. Because Lex Luthor is definitely the kind of guy that has a big enough ego to think that he could control someone like Brainiac. He could use someone like Brainiac to his own advantage. So maybe working with Superman under the guise of hey, you and I both care about this world, we want to protect it together, you need me to save this world, Superman. And then when he finally gets what he needs out of Brainiac, that's when it's like, oh yeah, no, I don't give a shit about the world, I just want a Brainiac's technology.
Yeah, I can easily see this being sort of like Lex Luthor trying to test his intellect, and really trying to one up Superman and both Brainiac, trying to think he can kind of get the best of the both of them. That actually sounds like a really fun dynamic for me. So yeah, I'm kind of completely on board with this one. I want to see if there's anything else in this article though. Any other details with the rivalries as deep as theirs and all hatred as all consuming as Luther's, it would take something significant to get the duo to bury the hatchet and work together even temporarily. Such a team up is hinted at during the climactic scene in Superman when Man of Steel tells Holtz Luthor that he hopes for the sake of the world that Luthor uses his humanity for good. um Last time that we saw Lex Luthor, though, just as a reminder, he was in was it Belle Reeves? In Peacemaker season 2, but um I think he got moved, if I'm not mistaken. I think Rick Flag might have moved him. Lex Luthor is mostly concerned about Lex Luthor gun set, so we'll see what threatens Lex Luthor. Brainiac certainly fits the bill as a supervillain's intelligence rivals Lex's own, thus making a compelling case for the super smart Luthor to team up with super strong Superman. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any like. I don't think that there's any like casting or not in here. I don't see any casting suggestions, but we'll see who winds up becoming Brainiac in here. I thought I saw somewhere that somebody was saying Dave Batista, but I don't know. I don't think that
Mm.
that really fits the bill for me.
Like, he's definitely got a lot more range than people give him credit for, but I also feel like it's not that I don't think he would do a good job as Brainiac. It's that I think he would do a good job in a different role. You know, I think that there's other roles in the DC universe that he would be perfect for. Although, then again, I guess if he's going to be in heavy makeup, I mean, James Gunn has said that he doesn't mind using the same actor for different roles as long as they're in like heavy makeup and you can tell they're meant to be different characters. So I guess depending on how it's done, I wouldn't mind it. But I don't know. I feel like there's other actors that I would really love to see as Brainiac. One of them actually being from The Flash. Oh crap, what is his name? Harrison Wells, the actor.
Tom Cavanaugh.
Cavanaugh. Yeah, I feel like Tom Cavanaugh would freaking kill it as
That would
Brainiac
yeah,
if
he
they
would
went
be
with
pretty
him.
dope. He'd be pretty dope for the role. Blossom says Brainiac. I haven't seen that Creepos in Static Shock. Oh, interesting.
I
He was in this.
love
I don't
Yeah,
remember
it
that
was
episode.
it was such a cool episode because
That's cool.
that was actually the first time I realized Static Shock was connected to the DC animated universe because that was the episode where he crosses over with the Justice League because they had like one last piece of Brainiac, and I think they needed Static Shock to like basically uses electricity to depower it or so. Oh man, it has been so long since I've seen the episode. I'm just now realizing. But yeah, it was cool. You know, the first like Static Shock Justice League crossover.
Blossom says that dude scares the hey out of me. In terms of villains, what about Bizarro? I do expect Bizarro to show up. I think there's kind of like running speculation that his clone that we saw at the end of Superman going through the black hole maybe might pop up again at some point in time, sort of as a full-fledged Bizarro. But we'll see. We'll see.
That's definitely my prediction.
Yeah, I think that's the idea going around right now. Um, yeah, Marshall says, which actor would you like to see play Brainiac? I think you kind of answered that already. I'll have to sit and think of that. I just saw who I would suggest because I literally just saw him in Frankenstein, Jacob Elordi
Ooh.
was really good as Frankenstein. The makeup artist and stuff just really transformed him into like just a totally different creature. But he's got that gravitas on screen, I think, to make a great Brainiac if they really wanted to go that route. So Jacob Elordi would be my first suggestion. But I hear some fan casting for Jacob Elordi as Batman as Bruce Wayne. I don't know how tall is Jacob Elordi. He's got to be like 6'4", 6'5". He's
He
huge.
is 6'5". I
He's
because
huge.
my fiance and I looked it up while we were watching Frankenstein because I knew he was tall. I was like, oh yeah, is he like 6'2", 6'3"? No, 6'5".
Yeah, I don't. Maybe he might be too big for Batman in regards to height wise. 'Cause I think well maybe not because I think David Cornsweet I think is like 6'4", if I'm not mistaken. And he's a tall dude also.
Yeah.
Uh, so maybe but I have seen some fan casting, especially people after seeing Frankenstein for Jacob Elordi as Batman. So I would be cool with him as Batman. But when I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about Brainiac, I'm thinking of just like an alien creature with that can really come across very intellectually. And Jacob Elordi, I think, would just embody that role beautifully. Just from stature wise, being up against somebody like a Superman, being just the same height as Superman himself, I think would be pretty intimidating. But just from a performance wise, yeah, give me Jacob Elordi for mine. Oh, do you think we'll get some interactions between Lex and Jimmy because in the comics they're distant cousins whose family hate each other? I don't know in the movies. I don't know if in the movies they will. I mean, maybe he feels some type of way for taking
I was gonna say
Tess
they have that
Tessmacher.
going for it.
So maybe. I just rewatched Superman. My mom and I forgot how cunning Lex was until they ruined him in season 6. Let me see. In Superman 3, the main villain was an original who wanted to destroy the world through global warming. Brainiac was supposed to be the villain instead, but they went in a different direction. Interesting. Okay. All right. So he what looks like Brainiac was supposed to be in a Christopher Reeves film. I'm curious how that certainly would have turned out, or how they would have even executed that personally. But yeah, I think Brainiac's a great choice. I'm glad that we're finally getting the opportunity to see new villains on the screen for Superman. Very well deserved. It just opens up the rogues gallery now as to where you go from here. You were talking about the idea of you know, Lex and Superman working together in this movie, maybe trying to use a Brainiac or whatever the case may be before it's like kind of revealed that Lex Luthor's playing Superman. I do wonder if this in turn will because I do think Lex Luthor is probably going to be looking for something positive out of this for him, right? Like
Mhm.
James Gunn said, Lex is always kind of out for Lex. I really want a President Lex Luthor storyline, and I don't know if James Gunn will ever kind of give us that. But if you have Superman and Lex Luthor teaming up against somebody like Brainiac, and they're capable of saving the world here, I can easily see this being used as a propaganda tool for Lex Luthor to be like, "This is why I should be your president." Right? Like I teamed up with Superman. I've become a changed man now in my ways, and now we've taken down one of the biggest threats, sort of thing. So I can easily see this maybe pushing him into the spotlight for using it to his advantage to maybe run for president. It's what I definitely would personally love to see.
Use like a out of context moment where like Lex and Superman are like having a moment. Superman's like, "Yeah, Lex, I really do see some good in you." And then we cut to later where it's like, "And not to mention, I am going to be endorsed by Superman." He just plays that out of context because I see good in you, Lex Luthor, and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, see, Superman even thinks he's a good guy."
Yes, 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 absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. Again, I don't know if this necessarily comes as a surprise, but having some level of confirmation that it will in fact be Brainiac really works for me, and I'm kind of excited to the direction that Man of Tomorrow is shaping up to go. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. And with that out of the way, Stuart, we will stick into the world of DC Studios here, as we got some several big announcements coming out of DC Studios. One I would expect is sort of like an Elseworlds project, whereas the other one is definitely a DCU centered project. But we did get two big announcements here this week. Um, let's start off with what I think is going to be a Elseworlds project, and that is in fact going to be V for Vendetta is in the news. That's right, you heard that correct. V for Vendetta. According to Variety this week, a TV series is currently in the works at HBO. Um, this is clearly a movie that has kind of stood the test of time since it was released back in 2003 with Hugo Weaving along with Natalie Portman. I think this television series has the ability to kind of do the same thing that I thought the Damon Lindelof Watchmen series did in regards to echoing sort of where we find ourselves today as sort of a society. And I think those type of shows and stories that you can kind of find yourself relating to, I think could be really impactful. And I think if done right, especially as like an HBO Max project, this could be something really special. So let's go ahead and dive into the news again. This comes to us from Variety. This is for V for Vendetta TV series in the works over at HBO. A V for Vendetta TV series is currently in development. According to sources, Pete Jackson is attached to write the series adaptation. James Gunn and Peter Safran of DC Studios will executive produce. HBO and DC Studios declined for comments. Reps for Jackson did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. This is another project similar to Watchmen that we just talked about that was written by Alan Moore. So I know he's just pissed off about it already immediately. The story is set in Britain in a dystopian, not too distant future in which the country is controlled by the fascistic Norse Fire Party. An anarchist named V, known for his distinctive Guy Fawkes mask, seeks to topple the government with the help of Evie Hammond, a young woman V rescued from the country's secret police. Should
So
there be?
oh,
Oh,
sorry. Just real quick. So, I'm actually wondering, is it going to be in the future? Because in the comics, I think, correct me in the comments below, because I've actually never read the comic, but doesn't it take place in 2026?
ooh, ooh,
So, for us, it would be present time.
ooh. That's a little too on the nose, DC. Damn. So should the V for Vendetta series move forward, it would be the latest DC Studios live action show to find a home at HBO Max. Most famously, the premium cabler aired the drama The Penguin. The show served as a direct follow-up to the Matt Reeves The Batman. Let me see. Yeah, also mentioned HBO has also aired the critically acclaimed drama Watchmen, which was another fantastic series also. So yeah, we got ourselves a V for Vendetta series that is currently in the works at HBO and DC Studios. I would assume, Stuart, that this is a I would assume that this is a Elseworlds project. Would you think so? And what do you think about this news?
I definitely help it. I definitely hope it is Elseworlds because pretty sure the V for Vendetta. Okay, this is where I get a little bit confused because I've only seen the V for Vendetta movie. I've never actually read the comic book, but it is on my list now because I do want to read it before the before the show comes out. But apparently, you know that Alfred Pennyworth TV show that no one ever
Oh
watched.
yeah.
Apparently that was a prequel to V for Vendetta because it ends setting up the events of V for Vendetta.
What?
Yeah, so that was weird to hear about because I didn't even think I knew it was produced by DC, but I never thought of it as like a DC canon series. I always thought of it as Elseworlds, like complete just like with Watchmen.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm kind of intrigued now when I read V for Vendetta, I'm going to be keeping my eye out for a little DC Easter egg, see if they mention like Gotham or anything like that. But yeah, I think this is a really awesome comic book to adapt, even though again, I know I haven't read it, but I'm praising the comic book. But just from what people have told me about it, and again, it is on my list, so I will read it before the show comes out. But it is pretty cool that they're adapting this into a show, giving them a chance to basically be able to flesh it out a lot more than the movie was able to. I know that for the movie, they had to make several changes just so it could work better, like as an actual movie instead of being a one for one adaptation. And I know that Alan Moore, which this is going to come as a shock to absolutely no one, Alan Moore was not a fan of the movie. But I am very curious to see, if this would be like a more faithful adaptation of the comic, if they would be able to go like kind of, I don't want to say like shot for shot, but if they were to adapt it almost to a T, for the most part. But I also, I'm also kind of wondering because they haven't really said much about it. So my question is this actually like a direct adaptation of the comic book, or are they going to be doing what they did with Watchmen, where it's basically kind of like a sequel to the comic book, but told in a live action format? Either way, I think this definitely has a lot of story potential. And I love that, James Gunn is already showing right off the bat that he wants all these different projects to feel very different. And biggest thing too is that when it comes to DC like dramas specifically, so not like the soap opera dramas, but like just kind of like the dramas like with this or the other two shows, for example, like with the Penguin and with Watchmen, they're they have a great track record for adapting these type of comics into television shows. So I definitely have a lot of I would say I'm very much more on the optimistic side of this news. I think that this definitely has the potential to be something very unique, and not to mention I think that you know Much like with other kind of projects that like definitely kind of show a reflection of reality in one way or another. I feel like this is the perfect show to kind of like to do that, you know, to give us that perfect social commentary without a feeling like the show is written for the show, or without a feeling like the story is written for the social commentary, but more like the social commentary helps the story as it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we need more of that type of stuff, honestly, in today's television or movies or whatever the case may be. Just uh, movies and television series that we can really relate to that maybe necessarily wasn't written for us, but we're in that position where it's like we can actually take away something from where we find ourselves at. I got to say, looking at it, to answer your question, it does say, according to sources, Pete Jackson is attached to write the series adaptation.
Okay.
So I am under the impression that this is going to be adapted from the comic book series itself. I do see some people say things like, well, we already got a movie. Why do we need a remake of this? This is kind of similar to, I think of like the Harry Potter movies, right? Like we got the Harry Potter movies already. Why do we need a television series? And I just think sometimes that there are things that are lost in translation from books to movies just because you have a particular short period of time in order to, get all the themes and the particular important moments that you want out of out of the comic book series to big screen. So the idea of them adapting a series, I think, really works out. You get to flesh out the characters more. You get to get as viewers a little bit more emotionally attached to them. While V for Vendetta, I believe was that a Vertigo series or was it a Dark Horse? I think it was a Vertigo series, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was DC, wasn't it?
I thought it was Vertigo. I mean, they might be under the same banner, but I thought it was Vertigo. But maybe I'm wrong.
Hmm. Oh
Um,
yeah. Oh wait, I forgot that was got bought up by DC. Never mind.
let me see. I was gonna look for that V for Vendetta publisher. Originally by DC Comics. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why I thought it was Vertigo. Blackstone Publishing has released some editions of the work, such as the library edition. Okay, so yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Vertigo for like the longest time, but I think it is. No, yeah, DC Comics Vertigo. It was under the Vertigo brand.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
so so if anything, I think the idea of being able to do a series adaptation of this really works for the material, um, giving us the opportunity to flesh things out a little bit more. Plus, for me, it really shows that just how deep the well is for DC Comics. Just like how far into their bag that they can really go to make content. That it doesn't necessarily just have to be the straight DC Comics line. That's any of the other publishing companies that they have, like Vertigo, can easily be explore too if they kind of wanted to, if they've got if they got great material for it. So I'm all for this, man. I think this is going to be great for television. I really enjoyed the movie itself. I know the movie definitely has its fans. But for anybody that maybe doubts, like, why do we even need this? We already have a movie. I think the idea of being able to flesh this out a little bit more, I think will just add more to the story itself for this franchise. So I'm excited for this one, man. I'm
Hmm.
really pumped for this. Also to come out from this week from DC Studios, though, this is more DCU related. Now, look, after we wind up getting the Superman movie, it was immediate in regards to like, we need to get spin-offs for some of these characters. We knew that they were going to be working on some spin-offs for some of them. Speculation started running rampant. Like, is Mr. Terrific gonna get a television show or a movie of his own? One character that kept popping up though was Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen, who outside of the movie, for some people, became a fan favorite, or at least people really gravitated towards the Jimmy Olsen character in this movie. I personally didn't really care for the guy, but Jimmy Olsen definitely did gain some supporters after this film. And lo and behold, this week, ladies and gentlemen, it looks as though there is, in fact, a project being in the works with Jimmy Olsen. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This one is also from Variety. This one says Variety, Jimmy Olsen's DC crime series in the works at HBO Max from American Vandal duo, where the first season focused on Gorilla Grodd. That's right, Gorilla Grodd, most notably known for being one of the main villains for The Flash, will in fact be the focus of this Jimmy Olsen centric DC crime series. Now, I do believe Jimmy Olsen and Grodd have had some connections with each other in the past in the comics as well. And maybe they're going to exploit that here in this series. This says DC Studios and HBO Max are developing a fictional true crime series set in the DCU titled DC Crime. The show would be presented as a true crime docu-series that would be hosted by Jimmy Olsen. The first season would focus on Gorilla Grodd, a DC villain best known for his battles with the Flash. Tony Yacinda and Dan Perrault will serve as writers, executive producers, and showrunners on the show. So they've got all their bases covered already. You've got a writer, you've got the showrunners ready to go. It does say here, Yacinda and Perrault are no strangers to the world of mockumentary series. The duo famously created a critically acclaimed Netflix show, American Vandal, which spoofed the true crime genre. The show aired for 2 seasons at the streamer and won a Peabody Award for its first season, in addition to being nominated for Emmys for Best Writing for a comedy series. So yeah, that is the big news. So we've got ourselves a mockumentary style true crime docu-series being hosted by Jimmy Olsen, whereas the first season will in fact focus on Gorilla Grodd. Now, Stuart, look, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I personally did not care for the Jimmy Olsen character. I just did not. Maybe you did, maybe others did. I didn't care for a Jimmy Olsen character. Especially the Miss Tessmacher and how he used her, and like it's just I see Jimmy Olsen in a completely different light than other people. When it comes to his usage of Miss Tessmacher, like the scene in Superman when he's trying to get intel from her and things like that, and she just has a huge argument with Lex, and she goes into the closet, and she calls him, and the way that the shot is, or the style of the shot is like she's in trouble, dude. She's in the dark. She literally just has the light over. It looks like a horror movie. Like she's terrified for her life. She's fucking crying into the screen, right? She looks terrified. And Jimmy Olsen is on the other side, just like worried about him. Like doesn't want to get involved with this girl, just trying to get information. Not helpful at all. And this girl is in like the worst situation she could possibly. Like it just came across really cringy and like just like an asshole move for Jimmy Olsen. Like really worried about himself. And I heard some people chuckling in the theaters, and I'm like, this is more cringy to me than anything else. But that's just me. I just thought the timing of the comedy was really off in that sense. But I didn't really care for the character so much. But I will say the concept of like a mockumentary true crime docu-series, right up my alley. Like first off, I love true crime docu-series anyway, whether it be something about a particular killer or like a murder that happened. Like you put on like Dateline, you put on like any true crime like docu-series on Netflix or HBO Max, me and the girlfriend are right there in tune. So the idea of like the Daily Planet side of things playing a bigger role in this really works for me. So I'm curious. I would assume that the whole docu-series is maybe like following the origin story of Gorilla Grodd, some of the things that he's done, maybe trying to bring him to justice with like revealing information about things that they've found in their investigative work, sort of thing. Maybe interviewing people that know Gorilla Grodd. Like maybe the Flash pops up in here as like a cameo. Like maybe they talk to Wally West about his time going up against Gorilla Grodd. Like I would love to see that type of involvement of the entire DCU in regards to like who's come face to face with Gorilla Grodd before. So I do think that this could be really fun. The showrunners that they have, this feels very much sort of like in their world, like right in their bag. And so I hope this gets greenlit. It feels very much like it's pretty far along so far. But despite me not caring so much about Jimmy Olsen, I think the concept of the show and them placing him in like right in his bag, in his wheelhouse, you might have something here for me. I actually might be excited for this show and looking forward to it. Maybe not excited, but at least like intrigued enough to look forward to it. Miss Tessmacher's got to be in this series also in some capacity, I would assume. But a true crime series, yes, please. I'll give this a shot. What about you, Stuart?
I now need to rewatch that scene because holy shit, that is not how I looked at it when I saw it the first time. But now I'm like, shit, is that how that scene played out? Am I a terrible person for not noticing this? Because I was too focused on the comedy to realize, oh, wait, yeah, Jimmy is a terrible person. Holy shit. So yes, I now need to rewatch that scene from Superman. But yeah, no, for me, apart from that though, I just thought the Jimmy Olsen character was funny just with how they played it with him kind of sorry, there was a bug in here. Just trying to make sure I
Being
got it.
like a womanizer?
Yeah. Well, like that's what I thought was so funny about him is that he just it's not that he didn't seem like into women. It just seemed like women were more into him than he was into them.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yet they don't play him as like this they don't play him as like this cool, charming guy. They play him as like kind of the dweeb that he is in the comic books. It's just that nowadays women love those kind of dweebs. So it's like it makes total sense, you know, if you're gonna put it in a modern context. But I love how he just like the entire time just like doesn't seem to care, which it just makes it just that much funnier to me. But again, I got to rewatch that scene because then that puts a different light on him. But regardless, I loved like throughout the entire movie that whole like running gag about like how he's like this dweeb looking guy, but he's also a ladies man. But you know, I also thought he had some great comedic timing. I did really like his you know, interactions that he had with Clark and Lois. In fact, I actually do hope, I think it would be really cool if we got to if we're going to be looking at this show through like kind of a mockumentary style, it'd be interesting if we got Clark Kent played by a different actor because of the glasses and we actually see what everyone else sees when they look at Clark Kent.
Ooh,
I would be kind of intrigued by that.
that'd be dope.
Yeah, so I also love that we're putting him up against Gorilla Grodd because, yeah, like you said, this opens up the possibilities of possibly getting introduced to the DC Universe's Flash. Like, even if we don't get like an actor playing him, we could, you know, very possibly get like some stock footage of the Flash, you know, fighting against Gorilla Grodd, like maybe using some like, you know, street light footage or something like that. I think that there's some really cool
Cool.
possibilities. They also don't even have to commit to a costume as long as it's going at super speed, you know, and we're capturing this on camera. Obviously, we're not going to see what it looks like. But yeah, true crime mockumentary. I love it because it's different from other things that we're getting. And it's also, I don't know, I think a lot of people were disappointed because they heard like all these possibilities of a Superman spinoff. And the big thing is that I've heard, and yes, I do really want to see a Mr. Terrific show or movie at some point. I hope that character comes back, but I also was not too surprised because I remembered James Gunn making a similar joke at one point about this. And I think that this is like, I think that this just feels like something right up his alley. So to find out that this is the first official, like, kind of spinoff of Superman, if you don't count Supergirl, then yeah, it's not the most surprising news. I think that there's definitely a lot of potential, though, like I said. So I look forward to it. I hope more than anything that it's just funny. I hope it's a show that can give us all like a good laugh, basically.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. We do have one other piece of information in regards to this series, though. This comes to us from Nexus Point News. DC production details have in fact been revealed. Um, it does say sources tell Nexus Point News that the series, now titled DC Crime, plans to shoot next spring in Atlanta. This would coincide with the production schedule on Gunn's next film, Man of Tomorrow, similar to how Superman and Peacemaker season 2 shot side by side. So that works out really well because then you can have these characters jumping back and forth from set to set in regards to them having to do some filming. And good thing for James Gunn, at least he doesn't have to direct both Man of Tomorrow and this Jimmy Olsen thing. So he's got some time to himself. But yeah, them filming side by side actually I think is to their advantage. DC Crime is set to star Gasando in addition to the rest of the Daily Planet crew. So you got Perry White that's going to be in this show, Steve Lombard, Kat Grant, and Ron Trope. It does say Clark Kent and Lois Lane are not expected to appear,
Oh, okay.
but the series is set to feature Gorilla Grodd as one of the primary villains that Olsen will be investigating. But well, it does say, I was going to say, if it said David Cornyn Sweat and Rachel Brosnahan, but it clarifies those characters, because I was going to say you might still be able to get away with the cool concept that you had of like casting somebody else as Clark Kent because of how people visually see him. So I think that's a pretty cool idea, but it doesn't look like he's going to be popping up. With the series shooting next spring, this sets up to be the next series in the DC universe following Lanterns. But yeah, so it looks like production is set to go ahead and begin springtime for DC Crime. Although, to be fair, I do want to bring this up to you guys too. Over on Threads, I couldn't pull up, I couldn't find his post here, but James Gunn had two comments he wanted to clarify in regards to this. He says the name DC Crime is not true. He's like, he doesn't know where anybody. He's like, it's not even a working title for that. I don't. He's like, it's just weird, guys. I don't know where anybody came up with DC Crime. His next comment though was, that's not to say the rest of the story is not true though. So he is confirming the fact that yes, there is a true series mockumentary or docu-series with Jimmy Olsen. It's just that maybe the title of the show is maybe not necessarily DC Crime. So I don't know. We'll see what it turns out to be. Official announcement: DC Crime eventually. And, who knows? I have no idea what it's going to turn out to be. But yeah, James Gunn did want to clarify the story is true, but maybe the title is a little bit off. But that's how we'll refer to it for now until we get a confirmation.
Yeah, I'm usually not a fan of when they put like the studio or the company's name in the title. So I prefer it not being called DC Crimes or and just have it be called Crimes or anything else basically.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder because I think of like 60 Minutes, Dateline. I mean, DC Crime seems like it fits for me. But I guess I guess it can't. I guess maybe it would be more like in universe title, right? Like DC Crime is more like a DC Studios title. Like, why would Jimmy? I guess I would assume that would be like the name of his show, but then it's like, why would Jimmy Olsen call his show DC Crime, right? Like, so
Yeah.
maybe it would be like the actual name of whatever the Jimmy Olsen hosted show is going to be. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it turns out to be. Frankie says, agree with Stuart here. We'll have to rewatch that scene. I didn't think it was cringy, but we'll check it out. He said, I thought it was a refreshing take on the character Jimmy Olsen. I mean, the concept that you brought up of Jimmy being sort of like, I almost feel like he was just like like oblivious, like just unaware of the fact that
Yeah.
all these women around him like just absolutely adored him. Like he's just being him, and they're like, "Oh my god!" I did find that funny. I did find that funny, but yeah, it was just a little. I don't know. It's just, the scene just hit me differently. Again, that's not to say that that's what he was going for, but it's just a scene that hit me differently. But you guys check it out. You let me know what you think. But yeah, let us know. Two big DCU projects, V for Vendetta and Jimmy Olsen's DC Crime series in the works. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section box below. And with that out of the way, Stu, let's move on to our next topic here. As we've got some Star Trek news. That's right. The Star Trek universe is back in the news. It's been a minute. This has been a roller coaster ride, I think, if you're a Trekkie. Like, Trekkies are eating gloriously when it comes to television series wise. Paramount Plus continues to knock it out of the park. season after season of brand new Star Trek stuff, but the big screen is really where Star Trek has kind of faltered ever since Star Trek Beyond. There's been talk and speculation at one point Quentin Tarantino was supposed to write a script. Star Trek 4 was supposed to be coming a long time ago. Even the Chris Pine crew and actors and things like that knew of something in the works, but never really sort of solidified anything. So who knows the direction in which, if we're ever going to get ourselves a Star Trek 4 per se. But this week, Paramount did make a massive announcement that do not worry, more Star Trek is on the way. That's right. So much, in fact, that they are announcing that there is a new Star Trek movie in the works. This comes to us from Deadline. New Star Trek movie in the works at Paramount from Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly. Says exclusive after breathing new life into high popular IP like Spider-Man franchise and Dungeons and Dragons. The duo are looking to boldly go where no directors have gone before with a popular franchise. Sources tell Deadline that the duo are coming on to write, produce, and are attached to direct a new original Star Trek film for Paramount. They will produce under their Gold Day banner. Plot details are being kept under wraps for now, but sources say Goldstein and Daly's film is a completely new take on the Star Trek universe and not connected to any previous or current television series, movies, or prior development projects. That pitch that pitch falls in line with Skydance founder David Ellison's recent comments on an early call where he said the next Star Trek film will not be a sequel to the Chris Pine-led series, but something different with new actors. Where'd it go? While not confirmed, sources also add it's likely that new characters will be featured in this version. As for Goldstein and Daly, the two have shown a knack for delivering scripts with new and fresh takes on existing IP, while also adding a fun and lightness that differentiated them from other films in the franchise. Films like Spider-Man Homecoming, which the two wrote, and recent Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which they also directed, earning strong marks from fans and critics for strong stories and fun, witty humor. So yeah, the duo is now set to go ahead and tackle Star Trek, Stuart. I really want to get your thoughts on this first, because I know you are involved in this world. I know our partner in crime, Will Polk, over at Cena Nerd, talked a little bit about this on his Blurred Talk or Blurred Trekkie Talk. But I am kind of curious as to hear your thoughts on this new development.
So I'm always happy to hear about new Star Trek. But yeah, this I think the big thing is that I don't know these two and their relationship with Star Trek. So when they say that they're bringing something completely new, not connected to any existing timeline or any existing show or movie that's currently out, it's going to be its own thing. It can be done. I just hope that it's being done by people that are fans of the series, not just people who just want to use the Star Trek IP to tell a completely unrelated, like non-Star Trek like story. But yeah, I think for now, best way to put it, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm a little sad, but not shocked or surprised really at all that finding out about the crew from the original reboot not coming back. It did sound like for a while that Paramount just wanted to end the J.J. Abrams universe and just kind of like move on, or maybe not end that universe, but at least end that franchise with that crew specifically. But yeah, I didn't expect them to do this direction of not even like kind of adapting anything that's already been done before. To be honest, I was kind of expecting a next generation reboot, but with the timeline that was started from the J.J. Abrams reboot. So that's what I was kind of expecting, but they're not doing that, which I mean, I'm cool with. Just because I was expecting it doesn't mean I thought that was the right direction to go in. So this might actually be the right direction to go in, but again, It just depends. So I'd say I'm cautiously optimistic at this moment.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you there. I'm definitely more of a Star Wars guy, but that's not to say that I don't enjoy a good Star Trek movie or a television series from time to time. I've actually really enjoyed a lot of the Star Trek movies that I've seen. I am a little bit bummed that Chris Pine and them aren't going to be able to come back and reprise their roles one more time. But kind of like you, I don't necessarily know if it's a surprise or a shock for me. I mean, the fact that they've taken so long just to go ahead and do a fourth film at this point, it's just like, all right, maybe it is time to move on. As far as the duo goes, I have enjoyed their work. I'm not a big Dungeons and Dragons guy in regards to like playing it in real life, but the movie itself was hilarious to me. Like I had a really good time. I was definitely surprised by Dungeons and Dragons. So I would agree with you though, Stuart, in the sense of like I would like to know what their relationship is like when it comes to Star Trek. What's their knowledge about it? How do they feel about it? What's their favorite show? Like, I really want to know, can they live in this world, or is this a case of like we're just going to take the Star Trek brand and just make a witty comedy of it with some space action? Like, I would like to know how serious they're kind of taking this. I guess for me, the idea of like how disconnected this is from everything else does make me a little bit concerned. Like, I would hope that there's maybe some Easter eggs or some connection, like references maybe to the past in some way. Like, I have no problem, like, if they wanted to go even further into the future to kind of separate themselves enough from everybody else, and literally just have like a new ship, a new crew, and whatnot, and everything else that we've seen show wise is kind of just a distant past sort of thing. Either of those I would be open to. Um, but I do feel like this kind of falls in the realm of some of the things that we've been seeing with existing IP lately. That they really don't want to step on the toes of what came before, right? Like we literally just talked about like the Mass Effect television series,
Mhm.
where that talked a little bit about, that Mass Effect trilogy stuff like that happened. That's part of the canon timeline. We're not going to go back and step on that. You're not going to, this isn't Commander Shepard's story. We're really going to be telling a story about new characters in a new timeline sort of thing. But those stuff at least happened canon wise. I am kind of curious if if everything that's happening in the Star Trek universe will still be canon, at least to this project, but it'll be so far out from it, that it does give them the space to kind of create something original. I'm all for a brand new crew, honestly, and a brand new ship and story, but I just hope it doesn't jump the shark or get off the rails too much as to what Star Trek is, right? Like I do think what J.J. Abrams was able to do, I think, with Star Trek was reinvigorate it with, while even though we've seen these characters before, it did give us a much younger cast. He did
Mhm.
add some humor into it, some a much more action and stuff, and just a whole new dynamic to it and pacing. I think that really just put some energy back into Star Trek. So I'm open to a younger cast, new characters, as long as it doesn't veer away too far of what made Star Trek great. So I am like you, and it's also one of those things too where it's like Paramount, where they're at right now with David Ellison, I'm very weary of now of like every decision they make. Like, why are you making this particular decision? Maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but I think Star Trek is such a prominent IP for Paramount. You can't really mess this up because they just have so many things cooking right now, whether that be for television, especially on their television side of things. Star Trek, I think, for Paramount is one of those things from like a life support situation. You need to do it successfully.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping that they have the right mindset for tackling this one, but we'll see. Cautiously optimistic for sure. But I'm ready for more Star Trek movies. Like I really am.
Yeah. I do want to answer Marcelino's comment, which is what's something. Oh, wait, sorry, I misread that. I thought it said something you want to see, something I do not want to see in a Star Trek movie. Oh, in that case, I would definitely say I wouldn't want them to miss the point of Star Trek for the sake of action. I think that most of the movies have always done a good job of, because the whole point of Star Trek is it's supposed to be a utopian future, and I get that that's super hard to write, for to make it interesting when like everything's like at peace. How do you create conflict? And that's one of the most brilliant things about Star Trek is they show like even in a utopian society, there's still always going to be conflict, and it's always done in a really good way. So what I don't want them to do with this Star Trek, I guess two things actually. Number one, I hope it's not another new reboot, like another universe. I do hope it's still within either
Yeah,
the
I hope so.
Kelvin, the J.J. Abrams Kelvin timeline, or it's in the original timeline. I don't want like a third one. So I hope one of those. I hope it's in that. The other thing I don't want them to do is I don't want them to suddenly create like new lore where it's like, oh yeah, now all these planets are at war with each other. The Vulcans, the Klingons, the humans all hate each other. Now it's all war and that kind of stuff. It's like, no, that goes against what Star Trek really stands for. And also like the idea of like if they were to show like poverty on Earth and things like that, it's like, no, you don't get that kind of stuff. Poverty should not be existing on Earth in the Star Trek universe, that kind of stuff. So I hope they remember what Star Trek kind of is when they're writing this. Is all. Like, I don't want them to like just ignore important aspects about the Star Trek universe because they want to tell a story that involves more action and stuff. Not that like again, not that I think that that's a problem that Star Trek has had in the past. It's more that because for the most part, I think most of the movie writers and directors do get that when they work on a Star Trek movie, and that's like talking about all 13 of them. I think the only exception really would be the Paramount movie that came out recently, Section 31. That one was just
Wait,
god
did you
awful.
say did you say 13 Star Trek movies?
Yeah, 13. There's been 13, right? Because yeah, you had 6 with the original crew,
Oh my God,
1 with the
yeah.
original and next gen, and then 3 with just next gen, and then 3 with the
Oh my
Kelvin timeline.
God.
So 13.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
Oh
would
my
be the
God.
14th Star Trek movie.
Jesus.
Or no, this would be the 15th because then the 14th one was Section 31, which is probably my least favorite Star Trek, not only movie, but just my least favorite Star Trek in existence, honestly.
Yikes, bro.
um,
Yikes.
so yeah, anyways, all that to be said, though, what I do kind of want to see in a Star Trek movie, though, is, I hope it brings us that optimism. I hope, whatever kind of new crew we get, I
Excuse
hope
me.
it remembers like what makes Star Trek so great is make sure that the crew is like very diverse, in terms of like, ethnicity, what kind of aliens they are, and also in terms of personality, just make sure the crew just feels like a bunch, like every crew member just has their own really cool unique personality that really stands out.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts. A new Star Trek movie in the works from the duo that brought you Dungeons and Dragons. Now tackling a Star Trek movie not connected to the previous universes, not a sequel to the Chris Pine films. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section box below. And with that out of the way, Stuart, let's move on to another topic, one that I am pumped to get into, baby. As we're going to get into some masters of the universe. If you've been sleeping under a rock, we've got ourselves a live action Masters of the Universe movie currently in production, coming to you from the director Travis Knight, most notably known for his time on Kubo and the Two Strings, along with the Transformers Bumblebee movie. He's now taking his talent to Masters of the Universe, as I believe this is a Hasbro and Amazon MGM production. We've been keeping you guys up to date in regards to some of the set photos that have been dropping, I believe CinemaCon early April had a big presentation in regards to Masters of the Universe, talking a little bit about the idea of like all the set productions, the comic, the costume accurate suits that we're going to be getting straight from the cartoon series and things like that. Well, Masters of the Universe this week, I believe, or sometimes last week, actually had its first test screenings. They had one on the California coast and one out in New York as well. And we've got our first reactions to those that had the opportunity to check out Masters of the Universe. So let's go ahead and dive into this, Stuart. I'm going to pull this up. This comes to us from comicbookmovie.com. Masters of the Universe first reaction revealed as test screenings reportedly take place tonight. Though there's only one reaction for the time being, we have a highly positive report on the live action Masters of the Universe. As Masters of the Universe fans anxiously await the first look at some footage for the upcoming live action movie, we're hearing the first trailer will release fairly soon. Reports are coming in that test screenings are being held tonight. According to He-Man, the screenings are taking place on both coasts of the United States, New Jersey, and California. From what we gather, it will be a not quite finished version of the movie with some incomplete VFX. Um, those lucky enough to attend will most likely have been sworn to secrecy, but we do have one very positive reaction via the John Campea show. So this is what John Campea said. He says, I talked to somebody who has seen He-Man, who has seen it in its early stages, and they say it's amazing. And it isn't somebody who's got any dog in it. This isn't somebody that has anything to benefit from it. They say it's amazing. They say they were totally shocked, completely surprised, but said it was amazing. This is obviously just one person's opinion, but we'll be sure to update if anything else is posted online. Just so people know, I do watch the John Campea show. I don't watch it regularly, like daily. Um, but if he talks about a particular topic I'm interested in, I always listen to it. He did a show after this news dropped because I think he highlighted this comment on his show, and then the next day he actually had it as one of his main topics that he talked about. And he said he had a second person reach out to him that had seen it from that was in New Jersey and said the exact same thing in regards to like how amazing that they thought it was. And they also said this is Travis Knight's best work. So if you are a fan of Kubo and the Two Strings, if you are a fan of Transformers Bumblebee, this person says this is Travis Knight's best work. Now, who knows? I think John Campea said, who knows? Maybe the guy wasn't a fan of anything that Travis Knight did before in regards to Kubo and Bumblebee and was just really impressed with it this time. But as somebody like myself who has been really pleased with Travis Knight, to hear somebody say it's amazing and then Travis Knight's best work, that's two opinions that have been talking very positively about this movie. It says apparently the teaser is going to give us a first look at several key Masters of the Universe characters. It seems the motion caption actor we saw, Nicholas Galitzine, who plays Adam, Camille Mendes, who plays Tila, reacting to it in those set photos, was playing Cringer, not Beastman. Oh, what? There was a motion caption actor in those set photos? Interesting. Saying that he was playing Cringer, not Beastman. The footage reportedly concludes with Prince Adam raising his power sword. It says it was an early cut of the trailer with several shots showing green screen still and a bit difficult to see due to the security watermarks, but it was overall good. It was about 75% whip. I don't know what that means. The cut was quite rough, though, so by no means polished, but the characters I saw all look good. It opens with Prince Adam talking to a friend on Earth, and they were confused because Cringer is there, and they discussed the Green Tiger. From there, it goes to Prince Adam going to his home world and learning about his lineage from who I think is the sorceress, but it was kind of hard to see because of the watermarks. After it bounces around a bit, you see Prince Adam talking to a few people from Eternia. There are brief glimpses of Skeletor, and who I think was Evil Lynn. The trailer does show Prince Adam raising the sword and yelling, "I have the power!" And you see the transformation. A few quick scenes of him fighting as He-Man, then it ends. The leaker also says that Skeletor resembles his animated series counterpart and that the movie looks like it's going to be a solid origin story for the hero. Yeah, everything else that I've been reading, so yeah, it does say here, it says the story follows a 10-year-old Prince Adam who crash landed to Earth in a spaceship and was separated from his magical power sword. The only link to his home is to his home on Eternia. After tracking it down almost 2 decades later, Prince Adam is whisked back across space to defend his home planet against the evil forces of Skeletor. But to defeat such a powerful villain, Prince Adam will first need to uncover the mysteries of his past and become He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And this is set to hit theaters June 5th, 2026. Stuart, I'm so damn pumped for this, bro. I'm so damn pumped for this. I cannot wait. If anything, I think we're gonna get this trailer by year's end. I don't know if it's gonna be attached to something like Wicked here for the holiday season, or if they're gonna wait a little bit closer to like Christmas. By that time, it's gonna be like 6 months, 5 months out. Like, there's got to be a teaser trailer coming pretty soon. I mean, the website itself said fairly soon. So I would assume by the end of November, or at least by the year's end is when we hopefully get ourselves our very first look at this. But the trailer alone, the glimpse of what it could be has me hyped. I just want to see the transformation sequence, man. I just really want to see him raise the sword, say I have the power, and see what that transformation sequence is going to be like. But everything that I've been hearing about this movie is really positive. I'm doing my best not to get my expectations too high for this movie. Like, I really want to pump them down a bit because they've been trying to make this movie for such a long time and it's never gotten off the ground. And it does make me wonder, like, this movie could go off the rails so easily and just turn into a laughing stock instead of people actually taking it fairly seriously. And so I'm really hoping that Travis Knight just nails the tone of this movie and solidifies exactly like what he wants this movie to kind of be. The fact that I think that it, especially because of the fact that I think it leans so heavily into the action figure side and cartoon side of things, in regards to like accurate costumes, accurate like world building and stuff, to be thrusted into that world, it probably could go off the hinges really, really quickly. But I do think somebody like Travis Knight, who has the vision to bring something like that to life, I think can really do it, right? Like I've always said before, going from animation to live action is not easy. And so to be able to see what he was able to do with Kubo and the Two Strings, and then take his vision for what he wanted to live action with Transformers Bumblebee. I mean, the man literally gave us like our first look at like Cybertron, and it felt like we were literally watching a cinematic Transformers movie on the big screen. And if he can kind of take that same level of if you can take that same level of style and vision that he sees and bring that to life in the movie, we might be onto something really special here. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's only two opinions, but the fact that these two have been overwhelmingly positive for a movie that I don't know if anybody's truly prepared for, or still trying to figure out what this movie is going to be or what it's going to look like. This gives me a lot of hope, Stuart. So I'm really looking forward to this one, man. But what about you?
Same here, hearing that it is, visually accurate to the like cartoon. That's what gets me kind of excited, like getting to see all those visuals in live action. I think it's going to look incredible. I think you're right about Travis Knight, like especially like looking at like the way he recreated Cybertron and Bumblebee. Absolutely fantastic. I loved his movie, Kubo and the Two Strings. I think, the Masters of the Universe definitely is in good hands with this director. In terms of writing, we'll have to wait and see, but I think visually this movie is definitely going to look absolutely incredible. I am very curious though. So, because like I believe in the cartoon, he was born and raised in Eternia, but it
Yeah.
sounds like in this version, he was born and raised on Earth and only finds out his destiny like years later. So that's a kind of cool take on the character. I guess it's like kind of a way to make him more easier to connect to, with the audience watching it. So that's yeah, I'm actually okay with this take on the character.
Well,
And
I think it actually sounds more like he's from Eternia, but
but
he's
raised on Earth, right?
raised on Earth. Uh-huh. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it looks like they might have like whisked him away or maybe to save him or something like that, but it looks like he might have been um taken off of Eternia, sent to Earth, and he was raised on Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for this overall. I think there's just a lot of potential. And I think, more than anything, it'll just be a really fun movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
I
it.
hope we get a trailer before the end of the year.
God, I hope so. Attach it to like Avatar or something else. Yeah, I would love to see this. I'm trying to think if Hasbro has any other movies coming out this year or Amazon that they can maybe attach this to. But it is one of those IPs that are so big. I think you can almost attach it to any big film that winds up dropping in December. So we'll see though. But I am excited for this one.
Mhm.
Blossom says Prince Adam. Oh, I forget that's He-Man's real name. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
Adam's
right.
a prince, didn't you know?
Didn't you know? I mean, come on.
I've been doing a podcast with royalty this whole time.
But let's transition over to another story for you guys here today as the Odyssey is back in the news. That's right. The big epic is coming our way from one of the biggest filmmakers in history right now, a film by Christopher Nolan. He's going to be tackling the Odyssey, set to go ahead and release next July. We got some brand new first looks for you guys today, as Empire Magazine is also doing some interviews with Matt Damon and really giving us like the scope and scale of what this movie is certainly going to turn out to be. So, as we go through this article, I'm also going to go ahead and pull up some of the exclusive images that Empire Magazine has graced us with. But this first comes to us from Empire Magazine, saying the Odyssey is massively entertaining, according to Matt Damon. Let me go ahead and pull up this image too for you guys. This is an exclusive look here. Let's see here. As he tells Empire, Nolan's latest is exactly what you want of a summer movie, given everything that the legendary director has at his disposal. He says it should be the most massively entertaining film. It should feel mythic. Nolan's Oppenheimer follows up Cass Damon as Odysseus and a grand scale retelling of Homer's epic poem, charting his decade long journey home after the Trojan War. This is what he says. He says, I can say without hyperbole that it was the best experience of my career, the actor enthuses. It was a massive production spanning vast swaths of the globe, open oceans, thousands of extras, and gigantic props, including an actual Trojan horse. He says, I saw the horse on the beach and I was just like, F. He says, it was just so cool. He says, he says, he asked Nolan, um, he says that he helped lead the way on the process that was part of thorough planning, part going wherever the movie took them. He says, we were shooting that Trojan horse stuff next week. So I go, how are you going to do that? And Nolan goes, I don't know. We'll just get in there and figure it out. He says, of course, in the screenplay penned by Nolan himself, it was abundantly clear what the feats would belie Odysseus, and therefore Matt Damon himself. He says, if you're going to have an existential crisis as you pass the sirens and you're lashed to a mast, it's there, he says. If it says you're running for your life from a cyclops, you're going to run for your life. Chris doesn't hide the ball. He says that ball is rapidly approaching. Prepare Christopher Nolan's biggest swing ever. Stuart, I am so effing pumped for this movie, dude.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like Oppenheimer?
I thought Oppenheimer was awesome. Absolutely loved the way it was filmed, and yeah, I loved especially that shot like kind of towards the end where they do the testing. I thought it was really good. Plus, I like that it was for the most part an honest film, like saying, hey, we weren't exactly we weren't exactly in the right for doing this, that kind of a thing. But the Odyssey, I love the story of the Odyssey. That was actually like one of the few times I actually remember enjoying English class back in high school was when we were reading the story of the Odyssey and then
Yeah.
watching one of the movie adaptations right afterwards. So I think this is like one of the coolest things for Christopher Nolan to be adapting. I'm excited because like he's the kind of director that like studios will give how they'll give him a blank check, let him do whatever the hell he wants basically, and he luckily he's talented enough for that money to go to good use when it comes to the way he directs excuse me, the way he directs movies. I absolutely love all the behind the scenes stuff that I've been hearing about it, looking at all the sets they've been using, how much they've been like traveling for this film. And then, of
Yeah.
course, the cast is freaking incredible. So we have so much going for it. It almost feels like Christopher Nolan would have to try to make this movie bad if it ended up not doing good. So hearing Matt Damon giving him all this praise, it really comes as absolutely no surprise to me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all in the least bit either. So yeah, I can't wait for this, man. This might end up being one of his better films. At least I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I do like the idea, like you mentioned, that they really just let Christopher Nolan at this point just, hey, buddy, here's some money, go create, go do your thing.
Turn this $200 million into $1 billion for us, and we're good.
What's your favorite Nolan film?
Ooh, Interstellar probably. I really, really love Interstellar. So yeah.
I still think Inception is my favorite. I think it still holds up to this day. I really love that damn movie. The cast alone is incredible. And I try not to go back to comic book movies so much, but The Dark Knight is
Oh yeah.
just an incredible film. Those are probably my two favorite Nolan films. I'm trying to think of can you pull up Nolan films for me? What else has he done?
I think
Interstellar
what's
was like Interstellar was okay for me. I know a lot of people love that movie. I think from like a cinematic experience, it was pretty cool, but storyline wise, I don't know. I don't know if I ever really got into Interstellar. It looked great on the big screen, but I don't know if story wise I was ever able to get there. It says he's had 13 films. I'm like 13. Oppenheimer's definitely up there for me, probably top three, maybe top five. I'm trying to think what else he's worked on.
that's weird because yeah, I think it says oh wait, because it's not counting his short films before he actually like
Oh, okay.
started yeah. Damn, it's so weird. He's only directed 2 like full-length features before doing Batman Begins. But he did Memento and Insomnia. I haven't seen Insomnia, but I've seen Memento. That was really good. I
I don't think I've
also,
seen Memento yet.
what's bad is I still haven't seen The Prestige.
Oh, The Prestige is his too. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's such a good movie. Oh
I
man,
I
I love
totally
that movie.
forgot he did Dunkirk. That movie was absolutely incredible.
That was a good one too. Yeah, Prestige is. Oh man, Prestige might actually make my top three. Oppenheimer might be number four for me. I love Prestige. I used to watch that shit on repeat all the time. I forgot he even made that movie. Oh my God. Christopher Nolan just don't miss, man. He just
Yeah.
doesn't miss.
And then Tenet. Okay, so I think like the only movie of his that I'm not a fan of at all is the Dark Knight Rises. So not counting that one, I will say that my least favorite of his movies that I love is Tenet. But
His Tenet.
again, that is a movie that I also really enjoy watching. I absolutely love. So if that's your worst movie, you're doing something right. Not counting Dark Knight Rises because
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
I
yeah.
guess Nolan can miss. I guess he can miss from time to time. But like his misses are still like good.
Yeah, because even The Dark Knight Rises, his only like miss, to my opinion, even that one is still incredibly well filmed. Like especially that beginning like scene with the airplane being hijacked. Like the way they did that, like still kind of
Oh
mind blowing
yeah,
to me. Like
yeah.
looking back at it like this many years later. So yeah, I may not like the movie, but I'm not going to deny the talent that went into it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a heads up, sort of, I am having some lagging problems on my end from the studio perspective, but I do want to transition over to the next story. So as I do, if you wouldn't mind, I'll tell you when to bring up the last image. It should be the last image on the actual like overlays. But we do have one last topic for you guys that I found interesting from the world of video games as we make a transition into movies. We have a new project coming from the creator Hideo Kojima. This one actually kind of surprised me here this week. I was not expecting it, but for those of you who are familiar, he had a video game came out titled Death Stranding. I believe if you guys recall, I think the early trailers I think had like Norman Reedus in it or something like that.
Mhm.
I never really got into this video game. Have you ever had the opportunity to play it, Stuart?
I haven't, but like, yeah. So before Death Stranding, there was I think it was called PT or something like that. It was like a first person, like, how do you describe it? Because it technically wasn't a trailer, it was a video game, but it was a really short video game. It was basically like a concept. And then the very ending, you look into the mirror and you see that you've been playing as Norman Reedus this whole time. And then Death Stranding came out, and it's like nothing like the demo that came out before, but it
Huh.
was still a really popular game. Really unique concept. Like you're a delivery boy in this like post-apocalyptic universe where it's like actually dangerous to deliver stuff. So I think that was like kind of a fun concept, and it's hence why some people will jokingly call it a walking simulator. But I actually have not played the game yet, but I know a lot of people who absolutely love this franchise. Yeah.
So if you have played it, please give us your thoughts in the comments section. But Death Stranding is in the news because, believe it or not, um, there's an animated series that is headed our way in collaboration here with Disney Plus. This comes to us from the Hollywood Reporter. It says Death Stranding animated series from Hideo Kojima set at Disney Plus. Death Stranding Isolations will hit the streamer in 2027. It says Death Stranding fans rejoice. Hideo Kojima's groundbreaking video game franchise is set to expand with an all-new animated series that's headed to Disney Plus. At Disney's Asian Pacific Originals Content Showcase in Hong Kong, Kojima made a surprise appearance to announce the new show. This is a working title, Death Stranding Isolations, which is scheduled to hit Disney in 2027. Death Stranding became an instant classic and bestseller that built upon Kojima's legendary world building skills, marrying them with breathtaking cinematic visuals. A sequel game, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, was released in June this year for the PlayStation 5, and Death Stranding will grow with a feature film adaptation also in the works from A24. Kojima will serve as an executive producer on the animated series, appeared on Hong Kong stage with the show's director. So they also have a director already attached, Takayuki Sano. He's from Bullet and Gridman Universe to share details on the project. The new concept art also was shown. Speaking through a translator, Kojima said that the series will be pretty mind blowing and that he wanted to expand his franchise into anime as it would allow him to do things he can only do with animation. He added the series will have new and different characters. Asked why he was working with Disney, Kojima said he was a longtime fan of the company and worked with them back in 2023 on the documentary Hideo Kojima's Connecting Worlds. He added that Disney approached him about the project while working together on the documentary. As for his motivation for making this series, Kojima said he realized that there were people who may not play video games and he wanted to share the world of Death Stranding with more people.
Hmm.
The series will utilize traditionally hand-drawn 2D animation style with the production company that did Kamui and Red Cat Ramen, one of Japan's top animation studios currently working on the projects. Set in the world of Death Stranding Isolations will tell a completely new story, separate of that from the video games. The upcoming series will follow a young man and woman as they set out on an adventure. So yeah, that's all we have from that so far. But yeah, I kind of Stuart, I will say this. As somebody who has not played the video game but has been interested in it, I can totally relate to the idea of Kojima saying like, for people that don't play video games, like I want them to be like introduced to this world, and I find that really appealing. This may be my first entry into this world because knowing me, I'll never get the opportunity to play this video game before 2027. I mean, I feel like I have to be like in a completely different like societal bracket to even own a video game system at this point in time. So I'll probably never play this video game, but the idea that he's opening this up, same thing with the live action A24 movie. I didn't even know that they were doing one of those. Maybe we highlighted here on the show one time and I completely forgot about it. But if there's anything that benefits this franchise, it's the ability to tell stories in different mediums that then allow people to come into this world and know certainly a little bit more about it. I think the combination of working with Disney is excellent too. The 2D animation style is an intriguing one for me. I'm kind of glad that they're kind of going that route. But as somebody who's not played the game, I'm fascinated by it. I want to see what the first trailer looks like, see if it can kind of draw me in. And it is maybe my first time checking it out, but I'll definitely give it a look see, man. What do you think though after hearing what Kojima had to say?
Yeah, I mean, for one, the fact that they got Kojima involved in this to begin with is pretty unique. Because yeah, it's very rare that the video game developers really get much of a say when it comes to their adaptations. So that alone kind of wants to win me over, and the fact that he wants it to be done because he wants to win over people who don't play video games, like that's actually pretty cool of him. Rather than wanting to kind of gatekeep the IP and be like, no, this is for gamers only. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, again, I don't know much about the world of Death Stranding. It is a game that I may get into at some point in the future. It's just not super big on my radar at the moment because I got a bunch of other games that are on my radar that I haven't gotten around to. It's crazy because like back in high school is probably like one of the biggest gamers. Even in early days of college. Oh God, especially when I just had graduated high school. I feel like there was just a point where it was like I was just getting every new like major release like as they would come out. But just like the last I don't know when, but like I want to say probably started like 2018, 2019. I think it's just like when I started to get more into writing and just like I started watching a lot more movies than usual. That was when I started to dwindle out of video games, I guess. That's not to say I don't still play them. I mean, I have racked up like an unhealthy amount of hours on Baldur's Gate 3. So, I still play them every now and then. I'm just, it's like more that I'll find one game that I commit to for a long time rather than switching from one game to another after beating them. And then here's the other thing too. This is the part that like my younger self would be like ashamed of me right now. I play on easy mode when I play video games now.
Oh.
I used to always play on normal or hard
Normal.
because I like to have a challenge, but it's like nowadays it's like I play on easy mode because I don't have time to like put in the effort of getting good at video games. So all that being said, though, I hopefully maybe someday I'll get into Death Stranding. But I do look forward to this project because, again, I know a lot of people that I both work with and some of my friends outside of work who are really into the Death Stranding franchise. My friend Derek actually showed me a clip from this, and it was like one of the most Power Rangers things I've ever seen, where it was like a guitar that was also a blaster, and it's just like hilarious that you had this going on in this world where like everything seems so grim, but then you have these over the top supervillains that look like there's something straight out of Power Rangers. It's definitely a very unique world, very Hiro Kojima. Like when you look at his other works like Metal Gear Solid, like I absolutely love the way this guy tells stories.
Yeah,
Even though people give him crap for his cutscenes being a bit too long, I
I
love
love
every
it.
moment of it.
I
Yeah.
love it. Give me the long cutscenes, bro. I don't mind at all. That guitar with the blaster kind of reminds me of for you 80s heads out there, Silverhawks. I believe they had one of the Silverhawks was like a cowboy who had I swear he had like a guitar that was also a blaster. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments though, but yeah, man. I need a live action Silverhawk. Somebody please create one for me. But yeah, I'm eager for this show. I'm fascinated to kind of see what it's gonna look like. You know, Disney Plus is really great when it comes to anime studios. I mean, we've seen that firsthand with the Star Wars Vision stuff. So maybe this is like just opening up more opportunities for them to continue to get into the anime side of things. Be introduced to more anime production companies and get more content on their streaming service that way too. And what better way than getting Kojima on board too, one of the better storytellers of this generation for video games. So we'll see how it turns out though. But yeah, 2027, Death Stranding Isolations animated series. Let us know your thoughts. And with that out of the way, Stuart, that will do it for all of our topics here today. So thank you guys very much for certainly joining us for all of our topics. But Stuart, I think you know what time it is.
I do indeed. And now, everybody, it is time for live viewer questions. Questions.
And it is, in fact, time for our live viewer question portion of the show. And again, if you ever want to go ahead and submit a live viewer question over, how do you do it? Well, every Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, I will go ahead and put up a post for you guys. Just go over to our YouTube channel, as you see right here. Go over to our YouTube channel, click on that post tab, and voila, you've got ourselves a live viewer question post. Let's go ahead and open these up here and see what we've got. And then Stuart, if you can also open them up on your side, just as a backup in case. And let's go ahead and kick this off. Marcelino in the house. When it comes to Alien 3, there are some people who can't bring themselves to like or appreciate the movie. They killed off Newt and Hicks. Aliens ended with Ripley finding a new purpose with being a mom to Newt and potentially finding love with Hicks. And then Alien 3 starts with both characters being killed off. To me, I was sad when they killed Newt and Hicks off, but they weren't the amazing characters. So I was able to better appreciate the themes and story Alien 3 was going for. But where do you guys stand? I think we kind of talked about this last week or the week before. I don't remember how the conversation. I think it was when there was news that Sigourney Weaver said that she had seen a potential script for a new Alien movie that she might be attached to. Whether that comes to fruition or not, who knows? But it did bring up the idea that I remember talking about the idea that during a rewatch of Alien, I had gotten to Alien 3 and surprisingly actually liked the movie a lot more than I remembered liking it. I don't know if the hate train of everybody crapping on Alien 3 just kind of like lived with me for such a long time. But after having the opportunity to watch it again, I'm like, this is actually a pretty good movie. Like, I don't know what everybody's complaining about when it comes to this film. I thought it was really well done in regards to putting Ripley in a different environment. The all male prison I thought was a really interesting concept with the alien creature running around. I mean, don't get me wrong, the way the Aliens ends, you do think that there's more to come for both Hicks and Newt, but I'm not mad at it, especially because of the world that we're in, where it's like everybody suffers a really violent death. Like you could be killed off in this franchise in any particular moment by these aliens. And so the idea of Ripley maybe not getting her happy ending or getting her final beginnings as she would have because this creature is still around and managed to kind of survive. it really didn't upset me in that sense. It was just kind of like, oh damn, that sucks. Like, sorry for y'all. But I think it's just easily to just then jump into Ripley's story and see how she handles the death of both of them, and that would be an impactful for her. So yeah, I don't get the hate that Alien 3 wind up getting. Like, outside of just being upset that Newt and Hicks are dead, like, get over it and just enjoy the story for what it is.
Yeah, it's I'm definitely like one of those people. I think it took me a minute to get into it because yeah, like most people, I was really upset with Ripley and Newt and just like the overall like just how depressing Alien 3 as a movie like just kind of
Right.
felt.
Yeah.
I also like I'll say this like cuz yeah, like you, I rewatched it recently and was actually surprised at how good it is when I was able to get over that. But yeah, so with that though, I guess there are like, a couple of things that are kind of like rough about the movie. Like I definitely still think it's my least favorite looking out of all the Alien movies, like especially like with because I don't know, I can't remember how it is that they do the Alien special effects, but something about it just doesn't look as good or as scary as it does in other movies. And yeah, I can definitely see like some people just like not wanting to watch it just because it's just a constant downer the entire time. But when you look past that and you kind of like think about how everything that Ripley's gone through, the fact that she's able to keep going, keep fighting, and then she's in this kind of like situation that like no woman would want to be in, but she's
Yeah.
still like refusing to show any fear, which I absolutely love. Like one scene that I freaking love watching is that power move she does when there's like she's at the table and one guy just kind of just goes, "You don't want to sit here, I'm in prison for SA," and she's like, "Oh really? So me being here must make you really uncomfortable then." I'm like, oh, nice. So I absolutely love, so she has some great moments, especially the ending, man. That ending, like it sucks because again, you love Ripley and you think that like more than anything, she deserves a happy ending. But I think the way that she went out, on her own terms was freaking phenomenal. Taking the xenomorph with her, basically as one last big F you to Wayland. I love that. So yeah, again, like I get where people are coming from when they say they don't like Alien 3 because I was one of you guys. I also hated Alien 3 for the longest time,
Yeah,
but
I did too.
I think just upon reflection, it's not as bad of a movie, especially given the production hell that it went through. I think it's actually pretty good given the circumstances. My least favorite out of the trilogy, not including Alien Resurrection, because that's like that's one that is still bad in retrospect. But I think it's not that bad. Like when you look back at it with Alien 3.
He also asked, is it just me, or did Beast Morphers and Dino Fury not capitalize off the spy and night aspect as much as they should have? I'm aware they acknowledged and used some of those aspects to a degree, like Zato and Ion being knights, or how Grid Battle Force was technically a government-owned facility. But something about it just didn't click with me like how they did it in the past. So in some ways, it felt like the spy and knight aspects of the series were in a way accessories to their respective seasons, as opposed to being part of the core theme of their show. Similar to how Ninja Steel didn't capitalize on the ninja aspect, it was only accessory to the show, where if they removed all the ninja stuff and replaced it with something more generic, nothing would really change. Now, I want to make it clear, Beast Morphers and Dino Fury weren't lazy as Ninja Steel was, but there's definitely some similarities in terms of not utilizing their themes to their full potential.
I think with Dino Fury, I was fine with the way they utilized the night theme. I think they
Yeah.
did it just fine because you had knights in it in the beginning, and then you still had two of them like kind of during the duration of the show. It's just that you had new characters coming in who weren't originally knights because it takes place in present time. But I still think they did just fine. Beast Morphers, okay, so I get where people are coming from with that. You're completely correct. They do not utilize the spy aspect of the show at all, or they do rarely, but it's never like the focus of the series. But the reason it doesn't bother me is because they don't try to pretend it's a spy show, even though it feels weird to have the spy aesthetics, such as like the camera weapons, not to
Oh
mention the
yeah.
binocular weapons as well. And even the fact that they have sunglasses, because you tend to associate glasses, like sunglasses, with spies. So it's a little weird to have the spy aesthetic, but the story, the writing never really acknowledges anything spy related. So it didn't bother me too much in Beast Morphers. What about you?
Yeah, I think if anybody utilized it better, to me, it was definitely the Dino Fury aspect of things. Maybe they didn't do it to the fullest, but I felt pretty good about Dino Fury and how they took that theme and sort of adapted it for what it was. I think they utilized it fairly well. Yeah, Beast Morphers for me, I think would be the one that kind of stands out to me. Yeah, it certainly was, government run, so they definitely played up to that. But if they, as far as like not utilizing the concept of the spy themes enough, yeah, like when I compare that to like Go Busters, Go Busters felt very spy oriented to me at times too. Like you said, utilize like even they utilize like the cameras and the sunglasses and went on like some of these secret spy missions and stuff. So in that regards, yeah, definitely Go Busters definitely did it better. But yeah, sometimes Power Rangers feels like it definitely just utilizes those themes as accessories to sell toys more or less than just theme wise. And so I think Beast Morphers probably does that more than Dino Fury, but I'm okay with Dino Fury. Could they have capitalized both a little bit more? Yeah, absolutely. But I think Dino Fury did it a little bit better. Um, when TV shows get canceled over the years, there are people who say they refuse to get invested in something knowing that it will end on a cliffhanger with unresolved plot lines, regardless of how good the writing might be. However, is there any show that got canceled and you know it's going to end on a cliffhanger, but you don't because you still want to watch it? For example, I want to watch Devious Maids, Cleopatra 2525, The Society, Dark Angel, Tron Uprising, and many others. I don't care if they got canceled and ended on cliffhangers. Never got resolved because I still want to watch them and see what I'm missing out on. I'm trying to think of television shows that I know that have ended on a cliffhanger and never come back before. Um, yeah, is there any show that got canceled and you know it was gonna end on a cliffhanger, but you still want to watch it?
Um, no, like, so for me, it's like most of the time, it's like if it's a show that I know ends on a cliffhanger, I don't tend to bother too much. I guess it depends, because there's other shows like Alf is probably a weird example. Technically, it ends on a cliffhanger that never gets resolved, but that's still one I would say it's worth watching, because like it's not like the whole narrative is built on that one cliffhanger. The whole narrative is just, episodic in nature. It's not like they're about to answer this really long question that we've had throughout the entire series. It's just, a sitcom about a puppet alien living in a house. And then at the very end, just to get people hooked for the next season, they ended on a cliffhanger with him being arrested. And that never gets resolved, obviously. But I would still say, if you're interested in checking Alf, I would say, yeah, don't let that one cliffhanger, because it's just such a small part of it compared to everything else. So I would say, like, for something like that, don't let it stop you from watching. Honestly, for any show, I like Legends of Tomorrow. And yeah,
Mm,
Legends of Tomorrow also ends on a cliffhanger. I'd say, like, for any show where every season has a complete story, it's only like the end, and as long as everything else gets wrapped up, I'd still say it's worth watching. When it's not worth watching to me is if, for example, this didn't happen, as we talked about, it did get renewed, but if Alien Earth didn't get renewed and the show kind of ended because they never really completed the story they were trying to tell. They completed some arcs, I think, but I wouldn't say like as a whole the story
as a
felt
whole.
satisfying. If
Mhm.
that show ended on a cliffhanger, I don't think I would recommend it to people. But if it's like a show like Legends of Tomorrow, for example, I could recommend that because at least every season wraps up its own individual stories. And it wasn't like this was some big thread that like was part of a bigger picture that was set up from season one. It's just that, it ends on a cliffhanger to set up the next season. Does that make sense? Like, okay, actually, let me rephrase the whole thing. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was just the entire time I was trying to think of how to phrase it. So if it ends on a cliffhanger to set up the next season, I don't think that's a reason not to watch a show. But if it ends on a cliffhanger because it's trying to answer this question that we've had since the very beginning of the show, if it's trying to conclude the story that the show has set up, then that's when I would say it's not worth watching.
I I I would recommend it solely based off of the quality of the show.
Mm.
So like Firefly, I think ended on a cliffhanger. I would recommend people check out Firefly anyway, just because of the quality of the show. Like some people, like I think Angel even ended on a
See,
cliffhanger in some
thought that
capacity.
for a
No?
while, but I saw a TikTok video that actually changed my mind about Angel.
Okay,
For a
okay.
while, I saw it as an unfinished story, but someone brought up like the biggest purpose of Angel, and
Mhm.
that is that like when you've committed like 200 years worth of like atrocious, like some of the worst acts ever, you don't stop atoning. And I think that was like what
Yeah,
the message
yeah.
was at the end of Angel, is that like everything's like kind of getting wrapped up, and then suddenly hell breaks loose and they keep fighting. And I think that was like the overall message, is that it doesn't matter what good you've done, you don't stop atoning.
Like even Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, that ended on a
Oh
cliffhanger.
yeah.
But I would still tell people to go check it out because it's a great, like it really comes down to like the quality of the show. And sometimes, especially if a past writer or director is like now working on a new show and you want to go back and see some of their previous work, I would recommend it. Like Heroes. I think Heroes, even though Heroes got a reboot, I think it kind of left a little bit of a cliffhanger in regards to like where those characters. I don't know if it's a true cliffhanger or not for Heroes, but I felt like that got kind of canceled a little prematurely. But it was the show itself was horrible, so I don't blame them for canceling it. But it is one of those things where it's like I would still recommend at least the first two seasons of Heroes to people to
Mhm.
check out, even though the show might have got canceled. So I guess to me, it's really about the quality of the show. If I think they like you said for Alien Earth, if they didn't come back with this season two, and you probably wouldn't tell people. I still would tell people to check it out, just because I think the quality is good enough to certainly check out for itself. So I would only recommend it if I think the quality is worth people even spending their time on it.
Makes
Just
sense.
Jessica Fryman, with so many old TV shows getting reboots, which ones would you like to see reboot next?
Hmm.
Old TV shows getting rebooted. Oh
Because I feel
man.
like we've answered this before, and for some reason I always like kind of struggle when it comes up. Because hmm. You know what? You brought up Firefly earlier. I wouldn't mind
Oh
seeing that show
yeah.
come back.
Yeah. I think I used that one last time too. I don't know. I Old TV shows getting rebooted. Anything that keeps popping up into my head is like old sitcoms, and I think we're kind of past that. Like we've already did Full House. I wouldn't mind a Family Matters reboot. I think that would be pretty good. We used to have a lot of like well, I guess it's also based off of the type of television that I watch now. I don't know if we even have things like this, but like black sitcoms, I don't even know if black sitcoms are as popular as they used to be, but I would love to see like a Living Single resurgence or something like that. Or, um, I don't, maybe even a new Martin would be pretty funny too.
Didn't they say that they were rebooting Martin?
Maybe like animated. I don't remember now. Oh, maybe I think they were doing like a Martin, but like how they did Everybody Hates Chris, I think.
Wait, they rebooted Everyone Hates Chris? Or
No, I
Everybody
think
Hates Chris?
no, I think they were trying to reboot Martin to be similar to like Everybody Hates Chris, that
Oh,
remember when he was like a younger kid sort of thing?
yeah.
So I think Martin, but as a younger kid.
Oh, okay.
But
That's
maybe I'm
an
tripping.
interesting
So
concept.
I don't know. Maybe some old black sitcoms. I think would be pretty good. Like they're trying to bring back a different world. I think would be great on Netflix. So we'll see. Which unknown Marvel hero would you like to see a movie one day?
Hmm. It's funny. If he had asked me this before 2020, I would have said Shang-Chi. So I actually don't know.
Well, I can't say he's unknown, but I actually wouldn't be. Well, never mind. Never mind. You said Shang-Chi. It's too much in line with that already. Maybe they could do
Oh,
something cool with like a Doctor Voodoo or something, or a Doctor Druid. Um,
yeah. I gotta Google it real quick, just because. Trying to think. What characters do I know of that haven't been adapted?
Let me see. Major Marvel characters who haven't gotten an MCU movie yet. Mm, I think this is going to become a television series, but Heroes for Hire would be great. Um, Man, unknown characters, huh? I think I'll,
Yeah. I don't know. It's like funny. If you had asked me DC wise, I could probably come up with several, but like, yeah, I don't know why I'm struggling right now.
let's-
Oh,
Square.
actually, okay. This I don't know if this counts or if this is like too obvious or if this doesn't count, but let's go with Ben Riley, Spider-Man, like
Ooh,
adapting that storyline in one of the next Spider-Man movies. So yeah, like just basically a complete like a clone Spider-Man with memories, and then one that can actually kind of succeed in gaslighting the audience into thinking, wait, is this actually the real Spider-Man?
I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna stick with. I think I'm still gonna. Oh, yeah, I'm still gonna stick with Doctor Voodoo. I'm actually gonna probably throw in Dark Hawk. Do you remember Dark Hawk? Am I remember that character correctly? Dark Hawk?
Huh? No, I don't think so.
Let me see. Yeah, Dark Hawk. Superhero appearing in American comic books published, yada yada yada. Trying to see what his origin story was. I remember him popping up here. Christopher Powell was born in Queens, New York, while witnessing his police father accept a bribe from a crime boss at an abandoned amusement park. Teenager Chris Powell discovers a mysterious amulet. This amulet allowed him to switch places with a powerful android that his mind controlled. Powell vowed to use that amulet as an edge against crime. In this role, he worked with other superheroes and battled a number of costume villains. But yeah, I do remember Darkhawk. I had a couple of his issues back in the day. So give me Marvel's Darkhawk or Doctor Voodoo. What do you want to see in the next season of King of the Hill reboot, Stuart?
Ooh, I want to see a Bobby and GH storyline because we got one with Hank and GH, and I loved that episode. So I wouldn't mind seeing a little Bobby and GH, and oh man, I don't know if they would be willing to do this, but I kind of want to see either Dell or Joseph finally find out that Joseph's biological father is John Redcorn. I think it's been enough time. I think it's finally time that at least one of them learns their Jonathan, the true heritage.
Can I bring up this comment real quick though? It's so
Oh yeah.
random. Steven, what's up, Steven? James Gunn is a brainiac with his silly D-verse, another substandard James Gunn nasty. Let Zack Snyder finish his vision. I don't know if Zack Snyder is a compliment, and if it is a compliment, I don't know if it's the compliment you want to give. I just don't know why we're talking about somebody's sack personally. Like it's just weird to me. Um, I don't know if this is being sarcastic or what he's talking about here. But thanks, Stephen, for your comment. I don't know. It's
I
just so
just
funny to me.
I just read it in that cartoon voice. God, I wish I remember the animator's name, but he's like, everything was better in the '90s, and it's like one of those. It's supposed to purposely sound kind of dumb, and yeah, just the way he kind of like worded it up. Like, is that meant to be a parody of Snyder bots, or are you like actually like trying to imitate a Snyder bot? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that comment was. But I will say I do hope that James Gunn does get Brainiac right. Like
Mhm.
I don't need Brainiac to hit me with a joke, you know. Like I will say while I appreciated the lightheartedness of Superman, one of the struggles that I had with the film was that sometimes I felt it wanted to be a Superman movie, sometimes I felt it struggled to want to be a James Gunn movie and find a particular tone that really worked for it. So I am kind of curious as to uh, how much that how much that changes, or if it stays the same for Man of Tomorrow, and if so, how serious and how much of stakes will be raised when Brainiac sort of comes on board. That would be one thing I am looking forward to seeing how he executes it. AJ the Morphing Grid, the fate of the power coins. The evolution and fate of the MMR power coins are complex, beginning with the two-part transfer in season 2, the power transfer, where Jason, Zach, and Trini pass their powers to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha via the Sword of Light. This initial transfer ne- necessitated by contract disputes with the original actors, led to an ambiguous continuity, later suggesting the original coins were only deactivated, not lost, as they appeared intact in later anniversary specials like Forever Red, Grid Connection, and Once and Always. The subsequent destruction of the powers occurred in two phases. First, the Dino Thunderzord powers linked to the coins were seemingly deactivated or heavily damaged when Rita Revolto destroyed the Thunderzords, forcing a transition to ninja powers. Second, the ninja power coins were explicitly and permanently destroyed, turned to dust by Rita and Zed during the Alien Rangers miniseries, marking the complete end of the original MMPR era. This distinction suggests that the Dino Thunder powers might have been recoverable, as seen with Adam's functional yet damaged Mastodon Morpher in Always a Chance, while the ninja powers were utterly annihilated. Given the original power coins resurfaced intact and functional in later seasons and specials, does this imply the sort of light duplicated the powers of for the replacement Rangers, while Jason, Zach, Trini always had their power coins completely intact? Does this imply the Sword of Light duplicated the powers for the replacement Rangers, while the original trio always had their power coins completely intact?
I've heard this theory before. Um for me, God, because yeah, I don't know, like in a way, I guess you could say it's kind of a power transfer, but then the power from the original coin eventually like recharged itself. That's kind of the headcanon
Mm,
that I'm going with, is that
I like that.
yeah, like you could transfer the power from one to another, but that doesn't mean the power's gone. It can still, recharge and stuff.
I
So
like
yeah.
that. I like that. I might go with that one. I like that. It's a good hand cannon. Marky Parko, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines is often viewed as an underrated installment, functioning almost as a standalone what if scenario or a one off within the franchise. The film introduced several significant changes. It was the first time a major Terminator protagonist was a woman, the TX, and the crucial figure of John Connor was now an adult, portrayed by Nick Stahl. Arnold Schwarzenegger's iconic Terminator returned, but as a different protective variant. Crucially, the film sets up a new future dynamic where Kate Brewster, the new female protagonist, is revealed to be John's eventual wife and the future resistance leader, taking on a role traditionally held by the now deceased Sarah Connor. Given these major deviations in its controversial reception, does Terminator 3 hold up better when considered as a non essential, self contained story rather than the direct canonical sequel?
It's a dumb movie with a lot of funny moments. I still love watching it because like it's so well directed, in terms of like some of its action scenes. I think that a lot of its comedy actually works really well. Like there's definitely some moments with the T-800 with Arnold Schwarzenegger, breaking some tension and like ruining good moments, but like in a way that's like actually funny. And yeah, I'd say, and I would say I was never like emotionally invested the same way I was in Terminator 1 and 2. I think that's like the one thing, like that's the big thing that Terminator 3 lacks, is like the emotional stakes. I never feel emotionally attached to anyone in this movie, but it is just kind of a fun ride, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, I barely remember this movie. I remember growing up, John Connor played by Nick Stahl, but I really barely remember this film. I might have to go ahead and rewatch this one though. I don't remember being a big fan of it though. Um, but I mean, how does I wonder what James Cameron had to say for Terminator 3. I mean, these movies to me are all canon in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know. Like, it's just like I just don't know if I like if a movie releases like Terminator 3, right? Like in my head, when somebody asks the question, does it hold up better when considered as a non-essential, self-contained story rather than a direct I mean, maybe, but it doesn't make it any better for me. Like I because to me, it's not a self-contained non-essential story. Like it's meant to be, I think, a direct canonical sequel. So it's hard for me to put it in to other terms. But maybe, I mean, no, I still don't like the movie. I don't think it improves it at all. But
Fair.
yeah, that's just me.
Yeah.
Blossom, remember when I thought about Bridge meeting up with the team Imaginatrix? Should I have him come from 2025 or 20 years later?
Ooh, 20 years later, I always prefer a kind of when we see like a protagonist that we haven't seen in a long time. I kind of prefer that like time that we haven't seen them kind of reflect in when he reappears, instead of just trying to pick it up where we left off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of dig that. Yeah, I would be down for that. 20 years later, see how much he's changed, what's changed in his future, what type of person he's become. 20 years is a long time. I
Mhm.
would love to see a different version of him. So yeah, 20 years later. I'm still kind of freaking out about the Sentai rebranding. What name might they change them to? Geez, oh Molly, I don't know why, but it kind of freaks me out a bit. The rumored title right now, I believe, is Universe Heroes. I don't know if that's just supposed to be like the branding name for like the block of uh shows, like for the new show and then Common Rider. I don't know, but I think they're implying that it's supposed to be titled Universe Heroes. So take that with a grain of salt, but that's the title that I've been hearing. Um, but I can understand the kind of freak out. I mean, I don't know. To me, it just kind of implies like Universe Heroes. Like it kind of implies like each episode could be like a giant crossover in that regards. Like maybe it's the return of some metal heroes here or there mixed in with some Super Sentai characters. I don't really know. I don't really know what the rebranding is going to end up being. But yeah, that's the only name that I'm hearing so far, unless something news dropped, but I'm not sure. Um, Peg C, what are your thoughts on actress Kohaku Shida has been recast as Goju Unicorn in number one Sentai Gojuger after the original actress Maya Imamori was fired for underage drinking. Shida is known for her role as Oni's sister in Sentai King Oger. This recasting was an attempt by the production company Toei to keep the character in the show's storyline. Original actress fired. Um, recasting decision, Toei decided to recast the role rather than remove the character from the show, as it would have been difficult to continue the plot without Sumino. New actress Kohaku Shida, a well-known face from previous Sentai series such as the Don Brothers' Yellow Ranger, was chosen to take over the role. That's weird. Hold on a second. Hold on. Kohaku Shida. Oni sister. That was her, huh? That's weird to me. I only say weird in the sense of like, man, she first off, oh yeah, she does look a little bit older than last time I saw her as Oni's sister. First off, I loved her as Oni's sister, but I am interested from a world perspective. Like, how do you? What's the story behind that? Like, how do you bring back somebody that was a past Sentai character, right? And then
Mhm.
plug them into a new Sentai character as Ghost Unicorn, or yeah, as the Black Ghost User Ranger. Like, if they recast her in that particular role, is she the same character that she was in Don Brothers?
I mean, if I were the one writing it, that's how I would do it. It's like, if we're going to use an actor we've already used before, we might as well just like have them play the same character. It's just that now they're in the new Super Sentai suit instead of the older one. Now it's like, oh, hey, this is your new role in this series.
Right, but then my question is, so what happens to this Amino character? Like,
Uh, Got to write her off screen, which is really hard to do. Maybe I
right, like
don't know
that.
enough about the story to know how
Yeah, I
you would
don't
do that.
know. Yeah, I don't know much about the story in regards to like, is Sumino does she have a big story arc in here? Like, because I'm under the impression that the new actress from Don Brothers is now taking over the role of Sumino and playing a different character, but that would just be weird to me. Like, I literally just saw you like 2 seasons ago, bro. Like, so I would need to know more context in regards to like what the story of Ghost User is. How connected are they to things like the the Don brothers and things like that, or if there's any connective tissue. I don't know. Um, which Nintendo IP would you want Illumination to tackle next? Kirby, Super Metroid, Donkey Kong, Star Fox, or F Zero? So if we're talking about Illumination, we're probably talking about animation here. Um, I would say Kirby or F Zero because, well, Donkey Kong might be another option because I've heard them talk a lot about Donkey Kong. So I'm already going to be under the assumption that Donkey Kong is already in development in some way. So if I had to pick anything else, Kirby or F Zero, because I would want Super Metroid or Star Fox to be either live action or maybe not in the realm of animation done by Illumination. I would maybe want another animation studio to do Star Fox. So if it's Illumination, give me Kirby or F Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with an Illumination Star Fox, but yeah, I think Kirby is going to be my number one answer.
What are your thoughts on Dora and Tales of the TMNT getting canceled? I think we talked a little bit about that. I was always under the impression that Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wasn't going to stay around long, as it was meant to just bridge the animated movie to the sequel animated film. So I don't know how many seasons they originally had planned, but it is always bummer anytime that we take more Ninja Turtles off television. For me personally, maybe we'll get another animated series in like 4 or 5 years or something like that. But a little bit of a bummer on my end. What about you, Stu?
Yeah, I don't think it'll. I mean, I think if this show stays off the air for a while, I don't think it'll be the last we see of a Ninja Turtles series. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if the reason they took this show off was because someone else pitched another idea for a Ninja Turtles show that they wanted to do
Mm.
instead. Yeah, and then I think that there was also kind of the baggage of if it has to be tied into the movies, they're limited on how much they can develop characters, how much they can, move the story forward. And I think they wanted to have a show that would give them more flexibility, where they didn't have to worry about the constraints of tying it into, every time there's a new sequel.
My friends call me Joseph. Following his departure from the hit series The Witcher, Henry Cavill graciously passed the role of Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf, to Liam Hemsworth. Cavill offered his full support, stating, "In my stead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As with the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Gerald and enthusiasm to see Liam's take on this most fascinating and nuanced of men." Hemsworth, in turn, acknowledged the fan backlash he faced, telling Variety that he stayed off social media for a year and noted that the recasting process was already underway before he accepted the role. Despite the controversy, how important do you think Cavill's public blessing was a potential softening the transitions for fans? It might have softened it minimally, but I don't know if it softened it completely. I mean, I think it's always from a public perspective, I think it's just really gracious and gentlemanly of Cavill. Like it just shows the type of human being that Henry Cavill certainly is, which is why I think a lot of us love this man. And so maybe it helped the transition a little bit. I don't know. Has Henry Cavill ever done the same thing for David Cornsweet? I feel like he probably has. Um, I feel like he might have, but so maybe softened it lightly, but maybe not
Mhm.
enough. But I don't know. Have you checked out the new season?
No, I have not. I stopped after season 2, so I haven't even seen season 3 yet.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I haven't seen the new season, but what do you think? Do you think it was important for Cavill to do that?
Yeah, I think him softening the blow, because like with David Cornsweet, like yeah, he had his. I'm sure he had plenty of people like sending him stuff on social media, being like, "Oh, how dare you take over Henry Cavill?" But for that one, I don't think it was anywhere near as much as like with The Witcher, whereas like The Witcher, the big thing is that this was our first live action Geralt, and Henry Cavill was the one who established the show. Not to mention where Superman was a completely different universe, a full on reboot. This was a direct continuation, so I could definitely see why fans would be unhappy with the recasting. But I still think it's cool for Henry Cavill to like leave the show on his own terms, and not to mention soften the blow for Liam Hemsworth, who again, is just doing a job. He's an actor. He's taking up a role because that's what an actor does.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I want to see what is this doing? This is maximize. Oh, okay. I don't want to do that. Okay, sorry, I was messing around with some buttons on here. Um, let's see. Who else do we got next? Nathaniel. Look, we got. Wait, hold on. Wait. Is this the same? Oh, so wait, hold on. So Nathan, are you two separate people, man? You got two different accounts here? He sent the same question for two different accounts.
Oh, that's funny.
My friends call me Joseph and Nathan. Yeah, they both got the same questions in here. You gotta be more clever, man. You gotta be more clever next time. Um, Kenneth, what's up, Kenneth? Isn't it great that Tom Holland is making history as a live action Spider Man with a fourth solo film, Brand New Day, which is set to kick off a new trilogy for his character and is currently slated for release in July 2026? After his dramatic ending in the previous film, a crossover with the street level heroes like Daredevil or even a team up with the Fantastic Four would be a fantastic way to introduce his new chapter, especially since producer Amy Pascal has mentioned plans for at least three more Spider Man movies starring Holland, suggesting he'll be around for a while. But how many films do you think he'll ultimately sign on for before he decides to move on from the role? Um, so I'm not going to count Avengers, Secret Wars, and Doomsday. I think he's already going to be in those. So there's a part of me that thinks, including Brand New Day, we definitely get a new trilogy from him here. So I think those three are in the books. And then I think after that, maybe one or two more Avenger films. I think on based off of the reboot after Secret Wars, I think he's still going to be around. And I think he may lead into maybe one more round of Avenger movies before saying farewell. So I'll go so far to say five more movies as for Tom Holland as Spider-Man, and that is including Brand New Day, but not these current Avenger films. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm gonna only count like Spider-Man because I think in terms of just Spider-Man, we're definitely getting the trilogy. Actually, you know what? I'll include other things I think he's going to pop up in. Obviously, I think he's going to be in one of the two Avengers movies. I don't think he'll be in both, so I'll count that as four.
That's four.
And I do expect we're going to get him at least one more time after that, like whether it's a movie or a TV show. I feel like we're going to see him make an appearance somewhere. I kind of hope it's in Daredevil season 3.
That'd be pretty dope. Yeah, I would like to see, yeah, definitely another meetup with him and Daredevil. I don't necessarily need to see him in the full Fantastic Four, but at least a Human Torch, Johnny Storm friendship or bond would be really cool to kind of see grow between the two of them. So you say four, I say five. But yeah, I'm just happy Tom Holland's sticking around for as long as he has. This will be our first Spider-Man that's had sort of four films to himself. Not necessarily saying counting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield kind of coming back for like cameos in Brand New Day or things like that. So, I think Tom Holland, when his run is done, I think he's going to be in the same veins that Hugh Jackman finds himself in as Wolverine right now. Somebody that just really embodies this role. That while I was always a really big fan of Tobey Maguire, he was my Spider-Man certainly growing up. I think Tom Holland will solidify himself as the sort of Spider-Man for generations to come. But yeah, that's just me. But I am happy that we're getting that from Tom Holland.
Hmm.
And then last but not least, the most talented man in the world. Similar to before, the films Black Widow and Ballerina both faced challenges in their releases and reception, despite being highly anticipated entries in major action franchises. Black Widow, a prequel focused on Natasha Romanoff before the events of Infinity War, was critically and commercially hampered by the pandemic related delays and subsequent legal disputes with star Scarlett Johansson, with many fans feeling its release came too late given the character's death in Endgame. Similar John Wick spin-off Ballerina featuring Ana de Armas and set between the third and fourth films with the appearance by Wick struggled to achieve commercial success despite positive reviews, possibly due to the limited theatrical release and fan uncertain about a female lead side story position just before the main saga's conclusion. Do these examples suggest a pattern where prequels and interquels feature a deceased or secondary character, especially if released close to a major finale, are inherently at commercial disadvantage? I, you know, maybe, um, because I think the biggest argument for Black Widow was we should have had this movie a long time ago. Like even before the death of Natasha. Um, Especially if released close to a major finale. I like when I look at um Black Widow to me is really a launching off point for Yelena. Um, it's cool to kind of hear the fill in the blanks about Black Widow's past to like some of the past experiences that might have gotten referenced in previous Avenger films, right? It maybe helps connect the dots a little bit better. But I think Black Widow probably should have even come out before um, in Infinity War.
Yeah.
The post credit scene for Black Widow, great, and things like that. But I think you could have had the same impact putting that end credit scene in another post Endgame movie, um, and utilizing Black Widow as a pre-Infinity Wars, introducing us to Yelena still, but also giving us more connection to Black Widow even before Infinity War. Because I do think maybe even though I think we were big fans of Black Widow going into Infinity War, I think her death would have been even that much more impactful after having seen Black Widow before Infinity War. So, that close to a major finale, yeah, and maybe the same thing a little bit for Ballerina was a decent film. I enjoyed it for what it was. The question that I always ask myself was, if this movie takes place between 3 and 4 of John Wick, it does nothing to address how my man survived falling off the damn building and like going to Lawrence Fishburne's character to like, all right, let's get back. Like it doesn't explain any of that. My man is just walking around like perfectly fine after that in this movie. And so some discrepancies. I don't know if it put it at a commercial disadvantage besides just not being a John Wick movie. But so that's why I say maybe. Maybe for Black Widow. I don't necessarily know so much for Ballerina though.
Mm. I'd say yeah, definitely for Black Widow felt like kind of a big like felt like a big disadvantage because like a lot of people just didn't really care because we already knew her fate, I feel like. And I think
Yeah.
that it really should have come out before Avengers Infinity War. Because I mean, the only thing you really set up, the only thing kind of unique about it being after Infinity War is we learned the origin of the vest that she wears in Infinity War. And that's literally it. You know, you didn't have an entire Captain America
Well,
movie where the
that
entire sole purpose is to show you how he no longer uses the shield and instead uses forgot what does he use in like Infinity War? He uses something different than the shield, though, right?
I think
At least in the beginning.
yeah. Well, I don't know if he had a shield. What did he use? I guess it was kind of like a different type of shield that he used. But
Yeah.
Black Widow also does fill in the blank for what her and Clint's mission was that they were very secretive about from the first Avengers, you know.
Yeah, but like that one, but that could have been told like at any time though.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
need
yeah,
to be
yeah,
like
yeah.
part of the prequel.
Yeah,
So like I still yeah. Overall, I just think it should have come out before Infinity War, and I think the box office numbers would have been a lot better. Plus, I mean, if you don't believe me, like look at Captain Marvel making over $1 billion. And not to like talk shit about the movie itself, but I do think that a big chunk of that success did come from the fact that like that people were on the real big hype train for
mm,
wait,
uh-huh.
I forgot, did that come after Infinity War or before? I
I
no, it
think
was
it
after, my
came.
bad. Yeah, I'm sorry. Regardless though, I think that like had they done it before Endgame at the very least, you would have had that hype train up a little bit more for Black Widow and it would have sold more.
Did it come out after? I thought it came before Infinity War. No.
Let me double check. Because we had our tease for Captain Marvel at the end of Infinity War with the pager, and then I think we had Captain Marvel, and then she made her actual debut with the Avengers in Endgame.
Yeah, I can't remember now. Yeah, I can't remember now. Correct us in the comments, please, if you remember. Kiki and Lucas says Ballerina is great, but just not as good as John Wick. Yeah, I had a good time with Ballerina. It had its weaknesses to me, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. It felt like a John Wick movie. I felt like it certainly deserved to be part of the franchise for certain what it was. But yeah, not maybe just not as good as John Wick film. The second generation of characters just not as good as the original characters. Not sure how that can be overcome. I think a lot of the second generation of characters that we've seen have been really fleshed out more in like maybe like television series instead of necessarily the big screen. And I do wonder if that's kind of hampered the success as well. People also hated that it was the gas that was controlling the Black Widows and not brainwashing the green gas took away agency. I didn't really have a problem too much with that as far as like to really shift my opinion on what made or broke the movie. But I mean, I can understand, people not liking that idea so much, but it didn't really bother me so much. Yelena is not as good as Black Widow. Probably not, but I think Florence Pugh does a remarkable job as Yelena and allows her to now be. I would say Yelena is probably a fan favorite for many people in regards to the MCU at this point in time. What do you say, those two? I think you're muted.
I would say that she's definitely become a much more loved character from what's funny is I think people love her a lot more from Thunderbolts than they did from the Black Widow movie to set her up.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right. All right, I think that is all of our questions here today for live viewer questions. So thank you everybody for certainly participating. Let me just I just want to reload this just to make sure we didn't miss anybody adding anything last minute. Are you still looking up the Captain Marvel release?
Oh, that one. Hang on, let me double
Oh, no,
check.
it's okay. If not, don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember the order of things either. But okay, I think that does it for all the live viewer questions today. So thank you guys so much, man, for certainly joining us. This was definitely an experiment
Yeah.
in regards to doing this vertical side of things compared to the landscape side of things. So hopefully you guys, however you watched this today, appreciated the presentation here. Marcelina says many people actually prefer Yelena over Black Widow. I don't know. I mean, well, so much time has passed. I was a big fan of Black Widow just because of how Scarlett Johansson portrayed her, going all the way back to Iron Man 2. She certainly was a favorite of mine. But I've really come to enjoy Yelena at this point. Like Yelena is hilarious to me. Like I feel like I can definitely relate. I don't say relate. I definitely probably more relatable of a character, I think.
Mhm.
So there might be some argument that people actually do prefer Yelena over Black Widow as of right now. Um, but yeah, that'll be an interesting debate topic. Yelena or Black Widow? Who do you prefer? Because she has become a fan favorite, I feel like, of this new generation of characters that we've had. Um, yeah, she's just not as stoic as Black Widow. You know what I mean? I mean,
Mhm.
maybe because Yelena was, I don't know. I was gonna say I wonder maybe because she was so young when she got pulled into the program, but so was Natasha. Um, but yeah, I think they're both really solid characters, man. I've been really impressed with both of them. But yeah, guys, that will do it for all of our live viewer questions today. So thank you everybody who certainly participated in our live chat, sending over questions. We will certainly be back next week. This will probably be our pre-thanks. Is Thanksgiving this weekend or next weekend? It's next weekend. It's next week,
Next,
right?
yeah.
So it'll probably be our pre-Thanksgiving show. We may be off the air for that Thanksgiving weekend, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted. We were supposed to have Indy back today, but unfortunately, he had a family emergency this morning. So everybody keep Indy and his family in their prayers. But as soon as we can get Indy back here, we certainly will. But Stuart, if people want to follow you on social media, man, where can they find you at?
You guys can find me at TurboStew01 over on Instagram, TikTok, and Letterbox.
If you guys want to follow us, you can follow me everywhere at A Plus Opinions on social media. We're also at TikTok at Hero Reports. We post trailers, behind the scenes featurettes, my weekly comic book polls for you guys, maybe a couple of reviews here and there. If you want to keep up to date on all the news throughout the week, check us out over on our Facebook page at A Plus Opinions. We post all the news articles of big announcements, television series, movies that's in the works, trailers, behind the scenes featurettes for you guys, and a ton more. That's where we put all of our topics throughout the week, and then we pick 6 from there and discuss them here on our YouTube channel, our main YouTube channel. If you want to go ahead and subscribe, hit that subscribe button along with that bell notification. So when we drop brand new videos, you guys will certainly be notified. Other than that, everywhere else at A Plus Opinions. And that will do it for us here today. We'll certainly see you guys next week, next Sunday, live at 11 a.m. Central Time. And until then, do us a big favor, as always, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.